At 100 laps the distance today, and one of the drivers that Drake was able to catch up with, Bobby Santos. And on the asphalt side of Silver Crown, in pretty much anything having to do with Silver Crown sprint car, Bobby is always a contender, and for the longest time, if it wasn't Cody, it was Bobby. If it wasn't Bobby, it was Cody. And this is a track that he knows how to win at. He's tied at the top in USAC competition with 15 wins. One of the drivers he's tied with, I already mentioned. Another one we're going to have in the booth tonight.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have Tracy along for our broadcast this evening. But like you said, Brian, if it wasn't Bobby, it was Cody and vice versa. And that's just the way it was for a decade plus in USAC Silver Crown racing.
I mean, the better part of a decade, that's just the way it kind of was. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. And that's one of the things you kind of talked about is, 15 USAC sanctioned wins, and that's not just Crown. That's across when sprint cars were running asphalt, when the midgets were on asphalt. So he definitely knows his way around in different vocations of open wheel.
Yeah, and if we look at the last few years of midget racing, not sanctioned here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park by USAC. So he's got a lot more than just 15 wins here, but like you said, when it comes to USAC sanctioned competition, and every time we roll into this place, I don't matter what it is, sprint car, midget, Silver Crown, I feel like Bobby is always in the mix too, and he's won this race back in 2023, trying to get a second here tonight.
Be interested to see how he does. Let's go ahead and find out what Bobby had to say.
Bobby Santos, the 2023 Hoosier 100 winner, back here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park after a second win in this fabled event here tonight. And Bobby, 100 laps here, it's still no small feat. Of course, we've seen a lot of 100-lap races here over the years, but in the Hoosier 100, I feel like it always takes a little bit extra out of the team and the driver. What is it going to take tonight to not only make sure that you have a chance to win, but keep your car, your tires, and brakes, all that stuff good to the end of the race to make sure you have a chance to win?
Yeah, absolutely. 100 laps around this place is always hard. There's always comers and goers, and it's never easy. You got to take care of the tires, the fuel, the brakes. Everything's got to be managed properly to put yourself in position to win at the end.
One thing I love about Silver Crown racing compared to sprint car and midget racing is we have spotters in Silver Crown, and your spotter, she does an amazing job on top of the roof, kind of describing the action to you, not only what is going on with your race car, but with others' race cars as well. How important is a spotter in Silver Crown racing, especially at a demanding place like IRP?
Yeah, it's a huge part of it. Silver Crown Racing is a huge team effort, getting the proper information from the spotter, where you are versus other cars, lap times from different points of the race. So just ultimate team effort to win a Silver Crown race. So obviously got to thank DJ Racing, everybody involved that makes this happen for me to put us in position to hopefully win a Silver Crown race.
You have 15 USAC wins here at IRP. That's tied for most all time between Cody Swanson and Tracy Hines, and of course yourself. So tonight, a chance to be the all-time winningest driver here at IRP. What would that mean to you in your career here if you're able to get it done tonight?
Oh, that'd be cool. Obviously we're focused on tonight and winning tonight, but being tied with Cody and Tracy, two of the greats of the sport that I've raced with, it's an honor to be tied with them. But we're here doing this, so hopefully we can get one more tonight. Bobby
Santos after his second Hoosier 100 win here tonight at IRP.
See how Bobby does in his quest for another Hoosier 100 victory. And now, father-son combination. And we've seen this over the years. We don't see it too often in Silver Crown, where we have Brian and Robert Tyler. Of course, Brian has been formidable in Silver Crown over his career. His son, his Silver Crown debut here, and what a track to make your Silver Crown debut at. This is an interesting track in the way that you have to race it. And he does bring some open wheel experience, got a win in Race Saver competition earlier this year in Virginia, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does with the Silver Crown.
Yeah, it's a very different beast than, Brian, you talk about it. This place is over a half-mile in size, and it's shaped a little bit differently than most racetracks. The pavement here can be abrasive and rough and go through tires fairly quickly if you're not careful. So Robert's got a long night ahead of him of just learning, but he did come out here last night, did some testing, as a lot of the teams did, and said got really comfortable and is really looking forward tonight. But how cool to have Brian Tyler, easily one of the most experienced drivers of all time across USAC, and his son making his debut all on the same night. It's going to be super cool to see both of them on track.
It was neat when we were here at practice. I was able to go down and watch his son kind of get settled in the car, and Brian, pointing out and trying to get him comfortable and let him know exactly where he need to go, what he need to do. And watching him every time he came out, you could see the confidence, you could see him building a bit more speed. So we'll see how he does, see how everything goes. Let's hear from him.
It's a family affair here this evening at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park in the Hoosier 100. Robert and Brian Tyler are getting to race each other for the first time in Silver Crown competition. Not the first time they have raced against each other by any means. Brian, I'll start off with you. Between sprint cars, midgets, Silver Crown, you've done a lot of cool stuff. Where does this rank getting to race with your son here in a Crown car tonight at IRP?
Well, it's always exciting. I want him to have pretty good success. I've had really good success in these cars, and it's his first time in a Silver Crown car, first time on this racetrack. So yesterday in practice he just started out and worked up to speed, and every lap was getting faster and faster and more comfortable. So that's kind of cool to see.
How much has he leaned on you the past week or so getting ready for this race? Obviously, you're one of the most experienced Silver Crown drivers of all time, so I'm sure there's a wealth of knowledge that you've been handing down to him.
Well, there is. I just try to feed him the information I think will help him as far as the driving part of it. And then, I'm able to see what he does on the racetrack and go, okay, if you'd move up just a little bit here or pull down a little bit here, it's going to be a little more comfortable for you. So, I think it works both ways. He picks up on stuff pretty quick, and, it's just a matter of some seat time now.
And I'll ask Robert the same thing, too. You've got to do some cool stuff, not in USAC competition, but in 305 and 360 competition. Where does this rank, not only getting to race at IRP, but getting to race against your dad tonight?
Well, this is definitely the top of the line. I mean, this is, on a national type of a scale, so everything is kind of led up to this point, getting all the experience through all of our local stuff we have in the Southeast, and then traveling out and about here and there and getting as much experience as possible, just trying to work up to this spot on the ladder. So it's really special. It's definitely always a lot of fun getting to race with Dad, especially at a competitive level, not just kind of doing the 305 stuff around in our place and starting parks or anything like that. So it's fun to go wheel to wheel with him and some of these guys, some of the best in the nation. So just got a lot to learn.
And your dad was talking about the learning curve that you had last night here, during the test. So how confident do you feel after the test last night going to the Hoosier 100 tonight?
I'm very confident. We're definitely, like you said, getting a lot more comfortable. Probably the fastest places I've been before were always in a wing car. So you've got a crutch you can kind of lean on, kind of supplement if you're giving up a little bit behind the wheel. That thing will keep you, stuck down. But when it comes to a no aerodynamic and all mechanical, it's, tippy toe in a little bit. Okay, that worked that time. We'll tippy toe in a little further the next time. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of learning, and we're getting better every lap.
It's Tyler v. Tyler here tonight at IRP. Stick around. Dirt Draft practice is next here from Lucas Oil, Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Whatever you drive, however you drive. AMSOIL specially engineers lubricants to maximize power, performance, and protection in your vehicles, so you can work hard and play hard with confidence. Order online at amsoil.com.
Every lap, every race, every bit of paint traded for every hard-fought place. Every checkered flag and trophy raised. Every ounce of dirt, sweat, and gears. They're all jammed inside every can of NOS Energy. Go ahead, open up a can.
The new Dirt Draft app, faster, sharper, built to win. New lock windows and predictive contests. More ways to play, more ways to win. Lock in your drivers, watch the action, and become a fantasy champion. Every lap, every restart, every last lap slide job that moves you up the leaderboard. The green flag just dropped on the all-new Dirt Draft. Download it now at dirtdraft.com. Draft your team and get in the race.
Something has awakened. The horsepower and torque you always knew was there, just waiting to make every drive thrilling. Track tested, off-road proven, performance for everything you drive. Drive better with K&N.
Get ready for new Kias with 0% financing at Lou Fuse Kia Evansville. The Ready, Set, Drive sales event is happening now. Get ready for big savings on new K4s, only $169 a month. You're set with Sorrentos, just $279 a month or 0% financing. Drive home Tellurides, now $299 a month or 0%. At Lou Fuse Kia Evansville, home of the 200,000-mile warranty. Lou Fuse, we are family.
P1 Australia Racing Components, sprint cars, midgets, and micros, specializing in engine heaters, oiled heat mats, stainless headers, and black titanium. World headquarters in Indianapolis and also serving New Zealand and Australia. P1 ships daily. Visit our website at p1australia.com. P1 Australia Racing Components. For pricing, info, and more, slide into our Facebook and Instagram.
Power up your ride with True Brand Fuel Jewels, the only time-release fuel treatment on the market. Fuel Jewels cleans and lubricates while restoring power and performance, and its patented time-release formula increases fuel economy by up to 7%, saving you money at the pump, tank full after tank full. Plus, Fuel Jewels races for a cause. We partner with the National Breast Cancer Foundation to fund life-saving early detection screenings for women in need. Visit TrueBrandProducts.com to get your bottle today.
Welcome back to the broadcast on FloRacing, live from the Hoosier 100, Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, where 23 drivers for the USAC Silver Crown National Championship have checked in for today's program. Dirt Draft Hot Laps just about ready to pull out onto the speedway. As the track is under yellow flag conditions, first driver will begin to move out onto the tarmac. Joined today by the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series presented by Bird Insurance Group. 34 of the All-Star Midgets have made their way in here to America's Great Race Place. As you're making your way into the grandstands, don't forget to stop by the newly wrapped USAC merchandise trailer. Some leftover Indiana Midget Week as well as Eastern Storm apparel is still available. And I believe CJ Leary apparel also being sold at the USAC merchandise trailer today. So make sure to stop by. Of course, Silver Crown merchandise there and ready for you. All of your 2026 race day must-have gear. Of course, the Dirt Draft Hot Lap's about to get underway. That means it is time to download the Dirt Draft app if you have not done so. Remember, there are leagues you can compete in now. You can start at the Pro League, the Rookie League, the Veteran League, wherever you are comfortable in playing with, either at the start of qualifying or at the start of the feature event. Get yourself locked in and play along. And remember, new and reactivated subscribers get that 25% off gift card to the Hoosier Tire online merchandise store. As always, driver beat driver. Let's check in with Drake York.
Thank you so much, Brian. Yes, indeed, it is time to play some more Dirt Draft with some of our favorite USAC drivers here for the Hoosier 100 here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Shelby Hinton, good to see him back in the pit of a USAC race. He'll face off against Mario Clawson this evening. We'll start with Hinton. He's on the left-hand side of your screen at USAC Driver 1 in the Pro Public Lobby. And we mentioned the Public Lobby, the Pro Lobby, that is. Of course, that's the only way you could play with the USAC drivers here with our friends at Dirt Draft. Shelby has chosen CJ Leary, Davey Hamilton Jr., Tyler Roehrig, Brian Tyler, and Colton Bettis. His opposition, as we said, Mario Clawson. He's at USAC Driver 2 in that all-important Pro Public Lobby. He has chosen himself, Briggs Daner, Dakota Armstrong, Tyler Roehrig, and Colton Bettis. So remember to sign up to play with our USAC drivers here this evening at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, and make sure you log on to the Pro Lobby to play with Shelby Hinton and Mario Clawson.
Thank you very much. Green flag flying here for Dirt Draft Hot Lap session number 1. Some of the drivers that have made their way out onto the racing surface. The always bright number 40 machine, Nathan Bird, will start to get up to speed here. In the YourBigPlans.com number 40 machine, the driver directly in front of him is your reigning Silver Crown champion out of Ione, California, the NOS Energy Drink Super Fitness Speedway Ford BC39. Justin Grant going to start to come up to speed. Looking back behind those two cars right now. Driver coming into frame here in just a little bit. Looks to be Kyle Steffens. Steffens at the St. Charles, Missouri, making his way into turn at number 3 right now. The Performance Plus Global Logistics, Spartan Transportation, FG3 powered Beast, number 8. Rolling around onto the front straightaway in 14. That's Davey Hamilton Jr. to Tampa, Florida. The Willwood Racing, BR Motorsports, King Racing Products, BMI, FTC, Brown Middle Racing Solutions, number 14. And Steffens off the throttle already here in practice. He'll try to make his way down on the pit road as they work into turns 3 and 4 here. Next driver in line to tell you about is the 124. Here on the front straightaway, Jackson Masinko out of Cincinnati, Ohio. The JTM Food Group, Toyota-powered Beast. Brockman Signs, number 124. And the 77, the Doran Enterprises, E. Schneider & Sons Recycling. Cinnabog Crane and Material Handling, Lancey Ford Beast, number 77. Making his way on the back straightaway, that is Briggs Danner. Danner in the number 77. Making his way off of turn number 4 right now. Driver he's rolling by, Kyle Hamilton out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Originally, Michael Lewis was set to be behind the wheel of that car. Lewis not able to make the call, so the Quiet Enterprises Woodward Brown & Miller Racing Solutions number 6 on the exit turn number 2 will be occupied again by Kyle Hamilton. Mario Klauser also on track. Jump of the Pella windows, Avante windows the door, Stanton DRC, Team Arizona Petty Performance Rossi Racing number 20, the black and yellow machine here on the front straightaway. Tyler Rohrig at speed onto the front stretch out of Plymouth, Indiana. The First Line Systems Incorporated, Jackson Chevrolet Beast Newman Racing Drywall Distributors number 41. Making his way around onto the back straightaway, the 26, Colton Bettis out of Lex, Florida. The Sam Pierce Chevrolet Burns Concrete, RE Enterprises number 26. Likewise out onto the speedway here for Dirt Draft Hot Lap session number 1. Davey Hamilton Jr. so far the quickest driver on track at a 21.502, 2:15.02 seconds. Joining me in the booth today, a man who needs no introduction. We're going to do some anyway. Tracy Hines, a 15-time USAC winner here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And Tracy, looking at the track right now, it's a little interesting because we had rain overnight, so it kind of washed the track off. It's a little green right now, so it feels like the drivers may be moving around more than what we'll see a little bit later on once they really start setting a groove in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of Indianapolis Raceway Park is that you can, if your car's not handling perfect, you can move around and make it do something different. From the bottom all the way to the top, there's something that will change the handling of the car.
This track has a progressive banking to it, so that adds another element in there. We see drivers going in, and a lot of times it's almost like in dirt where you slide yourself. You see them kind of moving up and then kind of coming back down that embankment.
Well, you try to. There's two ways here, right? So you can build a lot of speed. So you'll go in a little low, go to the top, and kind of bring it back down. They call it the Mike Bliss route for the older guys, myself. And then you're also, if you're tight, if your car is really tight and you can't make it turn, so you'll just make long straightaways out. The perfect groove, what I consider, most of my 15 wins was just about 2 feet above the second line from the top. That was where I would just kind of ride and can build the same speed the whole corner.
Right there, you kind of riding into that real transition into the banking where you're able to kind of lean the car into it?
Well, so if you look really close in the middle of the corner, you can see right there's a black line about 2 feet below that dotted line. And that will have a little crease to it, and it'll just slightly unhook the car. So I always have my car just a little tighter, and then that would let it free up right when I needed it to.
And that's one of the neat things I feel like about racing on pavement like that is that ability to go in and kind of manipulate the car. And I feel like you have to be so technical about it here where dirt, I mean, you have a rut that you might use to kind of get the car a little looser, get you where you want to. In this case, you know that's going to be there, but then track temperature, that groove like that, on a real good hot day could ultimately, I guess, turn into the banana peel.
Yeah, on dirt especially. But here, I would say probably like you talked about, just conditions of rain, if it washes it off. If you have sometimes rubber, I don't believe the Silver Crown, they don't put a lot of rubber down. Midgets will with a little bit softer tire, maybe not modern day tires they're using, but when we were a little softer compounds back in the day. So now it's just, especially in Silver Crown, 100 laps, you get that fuel burn. So you're trying to take 55 gallons when it comes down to 5. So you're trying to get that handling of that car that whole time. You're on a bias ply tire, so remember the tires are changing as the air pressure changes, the stagger changes.
Talk about 55 gallons. The max on these cars is 75 gallons. When you were rolling into in this case, 100 lap, not 100 mile this time, but 100 lap, where were you setting up fuel-wise?
I would have been about 55 here. Some guys would probably squeeze it down to 48, depending on how much horsepower you're making, how much you want to leave at the end. You could try to get the Silver Crown. It's harder than a sprint car Midget to get it to pick up to the bottom like always. But, you'd be 55, 58, somewhere around here. I think most of them would be 48 to 58. Let's put a big range to it.
Getting a look at Russ Gamester on the screen right now. Of course, has more starts in Silver Crown competition than anybody. And watching the way he's approaching the turn, and I feel like he's running very close to what you were talking about, going in and getting just above that second line and letting the car kind of float and work down the back straightaway.
Right. If you watch him there through 1 and 2, he's a little tight. So he tries to follow the line and see how it goes up. So the car is tight. So it's leading its front end up. Then he's trying to get on the throttle. It shakes a little loose on exit. So he's not handling perfect yet.
He's one of the few drivers in the field that have raced not only at the Indiana State Fairgrounds on the dirt mile, but also competing here in the Hoosier 100. And you know, the event, it's like turkey night. It jumped from track to track. It's like the Western world that has gone from track to track. And it's just great that after the fairgrounds went away, that the event was able to come back and live on, because it's such a historic event, not only for USAC, but for the racing in general in this area.
Yeah, I'm glad they brought it back. 'Cause, you know, I never got to win the Hoosier. Tried a lot on dirt. I led one time, 90 laps, ran out of fuel, 10 to go. So it was always a passion of mine. I wish they would have had it at IRP during the time. Maybe I would have had a better chance.
Drake York down on the pit lane, and I believe has an update on a couple of the drivers.
Yeah, just been listening to Justin Grant's radio for the last 10 minutes or so, especially during that entire first run he was on. Really nothing said a lot from that Helmergarn Racing team. They did make a small adjustment under their most recent stop, as just as I say that, he's coming down the pit lane right now. They took one click out of the right front of the 91 machine. So far they seem pretty happy with that race car if they're already making slight adjustments like that in the early goings of practice.
Yeah, if you're just making small adjustments right now, you know you have the balance in the car, and of course Dennis LeClav, everybody down there thrashing on that car, trying to get it as perfect as possible coming in. And Justin yesterday during practice had said as they went on, the car got better. So he's got to be in a good groove right now, in a good mood. And the track right now, very similar to what we saw in practice yesterday.
Yeah, I talked to Justin and I are close friends, so I talked to him quite a bit today, and he's pretty happy about his car. He felt like maybe he didn't have the smoke he needed down the straightaway at Gateway, but here he feels like it's going to be just fine.
Yeah, 8th place finish in his last outing of the Worldwide Technology Raceway on the pavement. And it's interesting the run he is on since Jennerstown. He's had a lot of consistency, and of course, having to overcome the injury to his foot last year and still able to come in and win a Silver Crown championship really speaks volumes to him and the entire team as we continue on here in Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Dakota Armstrong has gone to the top of the charts at a 21.368. 2:13.68 seconds. Now, the official one-lap track record here was established all the way back in 2000 by the late Jason Leffler, 20.298 seconds, 121.667 average miles per hour. And looking at that lap time compared to what we're seeing now, such a huge difference in the surface then to now.
That and tires. So tires have changed. They can say they stamped in the same. I love Hoosier, I love Irish, and everybody so profoundly living in this Indiana state with Hoosier there, but tires have not always been the same. They used to be a little softer, a little grippier. Now they've got a tire that does seem to last and doesn't fade much through the race. But definitely Jason. So I think we were also in the 20-second flat, 20 seconds. Jason McCord had the sprint car record back then too, which they wouldn't be 20 flats for a long time.
I'm trying to imagine the sprint cars on this track with the 410, and then you throw like even the wing pavement cars on this track, it would be insane.
It would. I don't have a lot of wing pavement races, but under my belt, had a few in Florida, but that would probably be pretty awesome to see them here.
Not the only action for the United States Auto Club this week. Tomorrow, the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship returns to the racetrack. We head to Millstream out in Findlay, Ohio. And then Saturday, we end up in Quincy, Michigan at Butler Motor Speedway is where the action is going to be. A couple of days after that, and then we get ready for the BC39 presented by Avante Windows and Doors at June 30th and July 1st, the dirt track at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Lincoln Park Speedway, July 3rd and 4th for the Sprintacular and Terre Haute Action Track on July 5th. After that, the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship for the Mid-America Midget Week. Sweet Springs on July 7th, Mitchell County Fairgrounds on July 8th, and Jefferson County Speedway on July 10th and 11th. Of course, if you can't be there live, you can see it all right here on FloRacing. FloRacing, the official online broadcast provider of the United States Auto Club across all three USAC National Touring divisions and most of our regional divisions now coming on to Flo. And a part of the Flo Sports Network, not only do you get racing, you get hockey, pro bull riding, wrestling, marching band, cycling, grappling, cheer, baseball, basketball, just about everything in between. And when it comes to racing, not only do you get USAC action, Interstate Battery High Limit, Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, the All-Star Circuit of Champions, plus major events like the Snowball Derby, the Dome in St. Louis, the Hyper Racing Tulsa Shootout happening December 29th through January 3rd, and the Chillable Nationals powered by NOS Energy Drink January 11th through the 16th. So not only racing, but sports in general, all a part of the Flo Sports Network. If you don't have it, you can get either the monthly or the yearly subscription. There is no difference on what you're going to get when it comes to Flow Sports. So make sure and check that out. Of course, we'd always like to see you there live at the track.
While we're talking future races, I got to take this time for Indianapolis Raceway Park. So on July 24th, we're going to have the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series here with the T-Sport 200. So I'll, of course, be part of that with the Truck Series race and helping. We're part of the promotion team with the T-Sport also. So we're trying to make this a family event.
The truck race, I feel, always draws such a good crowd, and it's always such an interesting race, and it goes back to even how unique it is to race with the Silver Crown division. I feel like the trucks, this track really plays well the way the trucks are designed and how they race.
It is. They're wide. They're longer than and what is now an O'Reilly car or a Cup car. They're a little bit longer, 112-inch wheelbase, so they don't turn as good. The downforce is spread definitely because of the trunk lid, but the race is tremendous here, and we have one of the best with Ty Majeski as one of our drivers. He really runs well here, and he's one of the few that I think understands the racetrack, that you move around and make the truck do many things you want it to do.
Looking at the way they adapt here, and you talked about the line you would take here, do you see them doing that in the truck series at all, or is it kind of a different animal with how heavy those trucks are?
No, so they'll start by themselves. They'll start more that diamond groove or building a lot of speed. But as the tire wear comes off of it, and fuel swing is a lot for them, and as that disappears, they start moving a lot around the track. And yeah, you'll see them right on the bottom flat, passing people right in the middle of the corner if they have to.
Dakota Armstrong on track in the 5, going on board with him, the Steeda.com onboard camera. Going along with the Newcastle, Indiana racer here as he works onto the back straightaway. Looks like going to bring it back down onto pit road to the Maristem Crop Performance, Stanton Beast number 5. So he's come out a couple of times, and each time having to go right back in. So something not right on the number 5. See if we can get Drake down there and kind of find out what is going on with Armstrong. So as Dirt Draft Hot Laps continue, CJ Leary right now, winner at the Worldwide Technology Raceway, is up top at a 21.313. So the track picking up some more speed as we go along. Drake, although, with an update, I believe, on Briggs Danner.
Yeah, Briggs Danner in that Doran 77 actually making his way out on the racing surface right now. And talking to him yesterday, his only pavement race experience was out at Worldwide Technology Raceway, our biggest and fastest racetrack we see all season. But he's gotten a chance to test here at IRP twice, once back in May and once last night. He says this place is so fun, but it's certainly going to be a challenge for Briggs. And the one thing I really picked up on our conversation earlier today is Briggs told me when you have new tires on pavement, you can certainly feel it. Well, guess what? The team just bolted on a set of fresh Hoosier tires on all 4 corners, so we'll see what Briggs can do. He's already had a good practice run, Brian, as he already sits in the top 10 as it sits right now.
Yeah, new tires, and I feel like here you're really going to feel it. The asphalt's a little older. It's got a little character to it, so you're really going to feel it. Now, practice scheduled to go to about 6:25. As a driver, when you're working with your team, at what point do you really start going into, okay, we need to start making dry runs. We need to start really getting ready for qualifying?
Well, I would go out. I would qualify on stickers. We pretty much always knew what we needed for stagger. We would fine-tune it. We would know our codes. We would have the tires prepped the week before. Not prepped as in soaked, but just prepped as in pressurized, had them at that right temperature so we knew what they were going to be. And I would qualify on stickers, and I thought you'd get the most speed out of that. So I'm surprised they're running that many laps on him. Maybe they're scuffing him, but it looks like he's running a few more laps now.
Well, does that come down to, you talked about the difference in the tires then being maybe a little grippier versus now, and trying to maybe get a scuff and get a heat cycle through them to try to get them to maybe come alive a little bit faster?
I don't know. I don't think so. So generally, if you are worried about shrinking or a stretching issue, you would scuff them. You would get some temperature in them so you know what they're going to stay at. I still think fresh rubber is fresh rubber.
So again, practice slated to go till about 6:25. Drake making the rounds down on the Indianapolis finishing work area and all up and down pit road, trying to get some updates on some of the drivers. We mentioned Dakota Armstrong. Every time he's come out, he's gotten up to speed, but then has kind of taking a quick turn back into the pit area. The crew is down there, looks like addressing something on the right front, so once Drake gets down there, we'll be able to find out a little more of what is going on. Briggs Dan are talking about the fresh rubber, and it's showing here, 21.242. He goes to the top of the speed charts, beating out C.J. Leary by 0.071 seconds, 21.313 with the driver, the number 21. Dakota Armstrong, third quick right now with a 21.368. Bobby Santos, fourth quick at a 21.417. And Russ Gamester is fifth quick at a 21.646. Tyler Rohrig, Davey Hamilton Jr., Justin Grant, Colton Bettis, and Ryan Newman. Rounding out your top 10 right now, looking at the difference from first to 10th. Currently just over a half a second, so it's really a game of inches when it comes to Silver Crown competition here at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
I tell you, new tires or not, I watched Briggs at Gateway and then here. For that limited experience, he is fast. I might have to pick on Cody and say maybe he wasn't the reason the 77 is so fast. Maybe it's just fast.
He's around here somewhere. We're seeing if maybe, I was trying to see if maybe you got that quick turn of the head and the gaze, the glare.
Well, I don't want Cody upset.
Well, no, he's probably down because he is racing.
Yeah, he's told me he was in the Midget tonight because I said, why aren't you running the driver's meeting for the Silver Crown? He said, I'm running the Midget tonight.
So cars continuing to cycle in and off of pit lane, and I believe Drake with another update.
Well, Brian, the good news is there was nothing wrong with the number 5 car driven by Dakota Armstrong. Just talking to the crew, they started this practice session on old tires they had worked in yesterday just to kind of get a baseline and see where they were today as conditions sit right now. They just bolted on 4 brand new Hoosier tires, and they're going to send them back out there. They've been making really small fine-tuning adjustments. As a matter of fact, just a moment ago, they put a small spacer in the right front. That is just the level of minute detail that this team is putting in this race car right now. So we'll really see what the 5 car is made up here in just a few moments, Brian. Like I said, 4 fresh tires on the 5 machine.
Looking at one of the drivers on the broadcast right now, Robert Tyler to Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. This is his Silver Crown debut. His father, Brian Tyler, who for years has been a force to reckon with in Silver Crown competition. Robert coming out, getting his first laps yesterday, and every time he went out, you could see a little bit more confidence, getting a little bit more speed, and right now going out there and just trying to turn clean laps of that number 75. As right now, sitting 21st quick, but again, just right now I think the goal is don't crash.
I'm going to tell you, this makes me feel really old. So I knew Brian for a lot of years. Donna, who Brian's wife, Donna Dayton, as I know her, they had the tire dealership. I knew them before, when they just got together before he was obviously born, so it made me feel real old right now.
So drivers cycling in and cycling out here. Again, practice slated to go for about another 25 minutes or so, 6:25, as currently 5:58, so less than a half an hour to go here in Dirt Draft Hot Laps. Brian Tyler, the Michigan racer, will be behind the wheel of the Flint Trucking Service number 81. The 40 on track, Nathan Bird at Goodyear, Arizona. One of the drivers going through his Hoosier 100 history was not a part of this event until it moved over to Indianapolis Raceway Park. Like I said, there's only a handful of drivers that have that mixture of dirt and asphalt experience during this event. So the 5 on track, Dakota Armstrong at Newcastle, Indiana, is reported getting fresh tires. We go on board here, the Stidda.com onboard camera rolling down the back straightaway. And getting a look at that and looking at just how close they're getting up to the wall. With a track this size, it's a little more than half mile. And the aero, how much does that really come into play here?
There is some drafting, more so when you're just trying to pull up down the straightaway, but this is such a handling track. You can talk about the size of the track, but look how big the corners are. So the corners are a big piece of it. Straightaway, you got to have speed, but if you don't start picking up the throttle 5/8 of the corner, you're not going to have enough straightaway speed.
So watching the 5 here as he works down the front straightaway, and he's backing out, I mean, right at the last second going into turn number 1. Like you said, probably about the edge of that Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park banner on the concrete. That's where you're really wanting to try to get back in the throttle to get down the back straightaway.
Sure. Yeah, so about right there, like you said, the red mark, he'll start to pick it up. You see it, the acid squeeze out on it. And, you know, he's just trying to get as much grip and much throttle as he can to it.
One of the things I notice on this track, and I don't know if it's just from our vantage point, and you talk about the back of the car kind of swishing out on it a little bit, is there kind of a little bit of a bump there, or is that just the way they're having to kind of pivot the car to get off and get down the front straightaway?
Well, I haven't been on the track for quite a while, so I don't know where the bumps are nowadays. But that always was an area working it, just because if it's drainage or, there's tunnel close. But I think a lot of it is just the straightaways are long, so you're trying to create speed, and you're off the throttle so long in the corner that you're just trying to optimize the speed. Everybody's searching, especially with the fresh tires that he's got on there. You're searching for as much throttle as possible.
And then trying to keep the car loaded as well versus, like with the truck series, again, you're trying to keep the car loaded up, but this with more of a sprint car style suspension with the torsion bars and everything, you're trying not to let the car get unwound while being out of that throttle.
Right, and it's a bias ply tire, so the tire's it's gonna move around, right? So what may look like a lot from here is not that much actually inside it. And then there's, we talked about the fuel load, 50 gallons is an average. They're not gonna have that in there now. They're gonna be out there at 15, maybe 20 gallons of fuel right now trying to run it lean.
What is your absolute limit? You go out for Learn Lab qualifying. How much fuel are you going out there with?
I would not go less than one of these than probably 10 gallons because you don't want to take the chance of it sputtering.
Of course, these cars, compared to anything else I feel like we run here open wheel, these cars are massively heavy compared to everything else. And then you throw the midgets out there, half the size and just super lightweight, and that's a spec class, so that really plays into it, where this is a 360 cubic inch engine in these, but you can kind of play around. There's different fuel systems, there are different setups. It's not like ASCS where you have a spec head, so I feel like the teams have a little more freedom to try to make power and try to get the car around the track.
Oh, there's a lot of different engines out there. Justin has a 20-some-year-old Ford engine. Some of the guys are running more of a throttle body on some of them, so some are fuel injected. There's quite a range here of engines.
Of course, just like in the sprint cars and the midgets, the drivers still have those 5 different adjustments. When you were in the car, what was your go-to? Like if the car just felt like it needed a little bit of a tweak, or it just all depended on exactly where you're at and what was going on?
Well, so for me, I had weight jackers in the rear, so being a rear coilover, I had hydraulic squatchers. A friend of mine, Shadow Racing Products, he made this hydraulic squasher basically. So I would have my fuel in my car set up at 20 gallons per se. I would then put the rest of my fuel in at 50, and I would run it back up to that height. And then I would count my turns as I go, and as the race would go, the spotter would tell me 20 laps in, I might take a round or 2 out. And the object was at the end of the race to be back down to my 18 gallons of fuel or 20 gallons of fuel with the exact same height that I had. So I would adjust that. If I needed left rear weight, I would take it out of the right rear first to give myself cross weight. You would also have shock adjustments. So again, a shock doesn't necessarily change a bunch of the handling, but it could change the timing of the transfer of the weight per se. So that would be something I would do. Maybe make adjustments on the rear shocks on how I wanted to add a little bit of the roll to it.
And I feel like with this, because you don't have a wing on top, you don't have that added downforce, so the setup, I feel like, is so much more important in this style of racing than even on like the pavement sprint cars.
Well, the 100 laps changes a lot. The fuel load changes a lot. But you're also probably not leaning on it like you do a 30-lap sprint car race. So it's a give and take. Comparing that to the midgets, where I always felt like the midgets were more of a go-kart style race for me, where you were always just trying to keep the speed built up. It was always momentum. And with the Silver Crown, you have to be there at the end of that race. So there's 25 laps to go. You better be handling the best you can at that end. It doesn't matter how much you've led early on, they will catch you.
Again, the scheduled end time for this Dirt Draft Hot Lap session for the Silver Crown division is 6:25, currently sitting at 6:04. Briggs Danner remains the quickest driver, 21.242. So under a second away from the track record. Again, Jason Leffler holds that at a 20.298. The 2-lap record held by Cody Swanson, 41.605. We've seen a couple of different qualifying sessions that have been run in this event over the years where they've done single lap and they've done the combination of the two and kind of an average. And today, just going with the 2 laps, single car qualifying, your fastest lap time counting towards your qualifying effort, as I believe Drake with another update.
Yeah, I was just talking to the team over at Abacus Racing, of course, debuting their DRC Silver Crown car at Worldwide Technology Raceway in St. Louis, and it didn't go exactly well. They had the car just riddled with issues, and they chased it all day, got it to a point where it ran decent, but not what the team was hoping for. So there was obviously a little bit of time between this race and the one we had at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And this car actually bounced around a few different locations of where it was housed to get more hands on it, more eyes on it, to kind of figure out what the overarching problem was at Worldwide Technology Raceway. So after Gateway, it went over to the Trans Am team that Kaylee Bryson races for. Now they're based in Memphis. Then the car came back to Indianapolis to DRC, where Joe Devin, of course owner of DRC, took a look at it, messed with a few things on the race car, and then it went back to the Abacus Racing shop before the Hoosier 100. So this car has seen a lot of miles, a lot of eyes on it since our last Pavement Silver Crown race. Not exactly the speed they were hoping for so far here in this practice session, Brian and Tracy, but talking to Kirk Simpson, the crew chief on this race car, he says compared to where we were at Gateway, we're very happy with where the race car is right now. They've done a few adjustments over the course of the day, and we'll look to tune on it here throughout the rest of practice.
Yeah, right now sitting 13th quick at a 21.750. Yesterday during practice, she went to get up to speed as well, and going into one, shut the car down, got pushed back to pit lane, and asked her afterwards, said fuel just started spraying all over the place. The line ended up actually coming apart, and was lucky to get it shut down. And she laughed and said, I couldn't even keep my socks on. They were absolutely soaked all the way through. So from the shoes, the fire suit, all the way to socks. And I feel like as a driver, when you feel that cold touch of methanol, that's definitely got to give you some goosebumps and get your attention.
Yeah, I will say one time I had a sprint car team, dirt sprint car, I won't say the mechanic, but kept leaving the lines loose on the high speed when we do our maintenance.
Oh no.
Fired it up for warm-ups, caught on fire. I drove it into the pits on fire. This is the second time it happened. I got out of it, left it running, left it on fire. I wanted to teach him a lesson. Guess what? It never came loose again.
I was going to say, I bet you never had that problem ever again.
No.
It's like, well, if you want to have Mongolian barbecue, then it's going to be your car, not me.
Exactly.
So practice continuing. Briggs Danner remains quickest at a 21.242. CJ Leary second quick. Dakota Armstrong, Russ Gamester, Bobby Santos the third, currently fifth quick. Tyler Rohrig on track in the number 41 right now. The driver to Plymouth, Indiana, driver that First Line Systems Incorporated entry, currently sixth quick. Justin Grant, the 91, is seventh quick. Davey Hamilton Jr., eighth quick. Ryan Newman, ninth quick. Mario Klauser currently 10th quick. Hamilton, Bettis, Bryson, Masenko, and Trainer currently make it the top 15. Then Tyler, Hinton, Kevin Studley, Greg Corey, that's your top 20. All 23 drivers have made their way out onto the track to get some laps here, getting a look at the 14 of Davey Hamilton Jr. These days hailing out of Tampa, Florida, and the Willwood Racing Chevrolet Beast at number 14. Hamilton, as I mentioned earlier, currently 8th quick, coming out to see if he can make up a little bit more time. Last time around was a 21.654. His best lap, his fourth revolution, at a 21.502. Looking at the run of show, once we get through Dirt Draft Hot Laps for the Silver Crown Division, we'll go into qualifying for the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series presented by Bird Insurance Group. One car at a time. Top 18 will lock into the feature event. Everybody else will go into a last chance qualifier, taking the top 6 out of that. That'll be 12 laps, and we'll come in with our 100-lap Hoosier 100. Qualifying, as usual in pavement events, is the inverse of practice. So your slowest driver in practice will be your first driver to qualify. Your fast driver in practice will be the last driver out to qualify. So far, Tracy, practice going smooth. It seems like everybody's starting to find a groove. Everybody that's had a problem, luckily it hasn't been major, so everybody's able to come out, get the car rolling, get it ready, and this is kind of a shakedown for a lot of these drivers looking ahead when we go to Iowa.
Yeah, and I would say the practice last night helped, because I did talk to Cody Swanson, the series leader, and he said there was quite a good turnout last night for practice, so I think most of the bugs got taken care of. And it could be why, when I was saying I wouldn't have went out with that tires the way they did, maybe they all started with their tires from last night, just shook it down, and then put their fresh ones on for practice.
On a track like this, and it's so essential in anything we do in racing anymore, where you have the tires balanced. Everybody usually has a balancer at their trailer. In this case, no, the balancer is back at Hoosier where you get the tires, and it's actually a balancer like you would see if you went to a tire shop. It's so important at these speeds to make sure that thing's...
It's called a spin balancer, Brian. Spin balancer. You spin.
Yes, I know.
Gotcha.
But I was trying to put it in context. If you go to a tire shop, this is the kind of balancer you're going to see. But at these speeds, and especially with the ride heights and everything and the way these cars are, that vibration can just be detrimental going into a turn.
It will, especially, I heard some of the guys talking at Gateway. I've had a vibration there where it literally shook my head. I couldn't even see it vibrate so bad. So the one thing you got to remember on like how thin these tires are, that when they wear down, let's say you took whatever, 6 little weights on the one side. Well, as that tire wears, it actually wears opposite of that weight. So at the end of the race, that weight could come off. So that's how come they start shaking. They actually wear now that weight because that tire is actually out around how it's happening.
So everybody kind of cycling in and out, and it's kind of like the lull in conversation where you'll have all of a sudden from a lot of noise to silence where everybody's kind of coming in, making those adjustments. Now we're going to see drivers start to go into more of that qualifying run. They're going to really start kind of tuning on the cars, seeing where they need to be for qualifying as they'll cycle in and out here. Getting a look down at Nathan Bird. He's got the push Jeep behind him. He'll make his way back out here in just a moment. So as the drivers start to cycle their way back out of the racetrack, we'll head back down to Drake York.
Brian, and I'm sure Tracy can attest to this as well, so much of these Silver Crown practice sessions are just seeing where your race car is at, short run, long run, what the tires do, what kind of lap times you're turning in. I've been listening to Justin Grant's radio a little bit more, and they're so far very happy with the consistency that they're seeing, not over just the course of a few laps, but a long run as well. Really all they've done here during this stay in the pit lane has just been check air pressures and doing some stagger work. Of course, Dennis LaCava, the mastermind of this team, talking to Justin over the radio. BK, Justin Spotter, giving them the lap times and just doing a quick systems check right here just to see where everything is at. They have not said explicitly over the radio if they're going to do another run, but there is a little bit of time here left to do another run if they so choose.
Yeah, set to go to 6:25. Current time is 6:12, so this is one where you come out, make a couple laps, go in, test a little bit more, make a couple laps. So really, I feel like this is almost 2-minute drills in football where you're going in and you're really trying to see how far you can push the car in the least amount of time.
Yeah, and I don't know how many sets. I don't know. Maybe you can help me with this. Are they allowed to buy unlimited amount of tires, or do they can only have so many?
It's actually a very good question. Nobody's asked me that.
Well, there you go. So, to me, I would probably cycle through a set of tires or two, but if they're not, I don't know how many times I would just keep going in and out because you're annealing that tire each time, which is going to make it a little bit harder.
So again, drivers cycling in and out here. We'll go into, again, mentioned earlier, All-Star National Pavement Midget Series presented by Bird Insurance Group. Their qualifying will follow this. Top 18 in qualifying will lock into their 30-lap feature event. Everybody else going into a last chance qualifying race. That'll be 12 laps with the top 6 transferring on. That'll be the first event on track following opening ceremonies for the Midgets. We'll have our Hoosier 100 following that. Before we get to opening ceremonies, both divisions will qualify, Midgets first, and then we'll go into Learn Lab qualifying for the USAC Silver Crown National Championship. And again, mentioned it earlier, the inverse of your practice time will be your qualifying order. So if you were the slowest at practice, you'll be the first out to qualify. The NOS Energy Super Fitness, Hemmelgarn Enterprises, Nick Bohannon, VersaLift Reynolds, number 91, and Justin Grant back out onto the Speedway. 5-time winner this year in USAC National Competition in Sprint Car and Midgets. Ocala, Red Hill, the Grand Prix of Kokomo with the USAC NOS Energy Drink Midget National Championship, Lincoln Park during Indiana Midget Week, and then Tri-State. Still looking for that Silver Crown victory here in 2026 as we check in with Drake.
Ryan Newman's Casmark Motorsports 92 car here currently on the pit lane. He sits about 8th overall on the speed charts right now, and they've sat here on the pit lane for a while, and that's for good reason. They've made an entire left rear spring change. Ryan just complained the car a little too free at the moment, so they're going to try to snug him up with that left rear spring change. And, of course, EnviroFab is a big part of the team here with Casmark Motorsports, and you see some of the personnel, if you will, from RMS Racing carry over to the Casmark 92. Cale Drake, of course, the driver of the RMS Racing, number 4 with the Australian Drink USAC National Midget Championship, and the dirt driver of this car helping out along with Lacey Doyle. Of course, she's the crew chief on Kale's car in USAC and Power Ice. So great to see some familiar faces from the dirt side of not only USAC Midgets, but USAC Silver Crown come out and help tonight too here this evening at IRP.
Talking about making an entire change on the left side suspension on that thing. When you're in the seat and you're feeling how loose that car is, you're communicating back to the team, making that decision. The thought process, everything going into that, say, okay, here's what I want, here's what I'm feeling, here's what I think it needs.
Yeah, Ryan's really smart, right? So he's going to know what he wants. I don't know what they came here with crossweight, so maybe he looked at their scale notes and said, okay, we already got enough crossweight in it, and it's still loose. So instead of adding cross, you go ahead and put a spring to get that dynamic squash going for the left rear tire. Because you can do some things, but at the end of the day, if it's not pushing down on the tire enough, you got to add a spring to do it.
That was one thing when I was interviewing one of the drivers a few weeks ago talking about the adjustments in the car, and they said, yeah, you can make the adjustments, but it's not like you can just wholesale change the car. It's more of a fine-tune, because if you're out to lunch, you're out to lunch. So that's where you have to have the car close before you ever go out.
Especially if it's just a shock adjustment. I try to always remind all drivers that a shock adjustment is not going to control something from ultimately moving. It's just going to control the timing in which it moves. So you're just going to slow down it getting to the left rear or off the right front or vice versa, but you're not going to stop it from doing that. You put a spring somewhere, you will stop. You can actually stop it from transferring.
Talking about Ryan Newman and changing the left rear spring on that thing and doing some shock work there. Now, talking about drivers earlier who had been both on the pavement and the dirt. In Ryan Newman's case, this will be his first Hoosier 100 on the pavement. His 4 starts were all at the fairgrounds. In fact, his last start was all the way back in 2000. So it's been a minute since he's been in action here, and that was in the Vance number 1.
Well, and Ryan and I are close, so I'm not picking on him without him knowing. What's his best finish at that Hoosier 100?
4th.
Really? All right. I don't pick on him anymore then. He did good.
1999.
Yeah, I talked to Ryan earlier, and they announced he was going to run a truck race, so I'm going to get to see him at North Wilkesboro running a truck. So
I didn't catch it. Which truck is he in? Putting you on the spot.
Oh, yes. It was one of the Dodge trucks, one of the column trucks.
I have a feeling that might be a little tie-in there with Tony and the Dodge side.
Yeah, I don't know. So they have been running, they have one truck that they're running like all-star guys or free agents and all-star guys. So I think, that, they're just, which is good for the whole truck series, right? We're a Ford team, and we're proud to be a Ford team. But anything new to the series is good, and that's what we need. For my daily job, the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, that's what we need is more life brought into it, and we don't really care how it happens.
I want to touch on that because maybe for people that are tuning in or in the grandstands that don't know what you're doing nowadays, obviously they know you from your driving career, be it USAC, the Chili Bowl, and everything and all your accomplishments there, but your day-to-day now, what does that look like?
Well, so at the end of 2015, I won a USAC Midget Championship. That was the last of the Triple Crown. And I have been working off and on with the truck team, ThorSport Racing, that I drove for a couple years in NASCAR. So I came back there to be the competition director and was doing that until 2017, and then actually went to director of operations of the whole company, which is ThorWorks Industries. So I still go every day. I start the day at 7 in the morning, go to the race shop, pester everybody, as if the guys are watching the broadcast will know. Yell at people, they say.
Pester. That's
yes,
how he says
yes,
it.
Yes, pester. They say yell.
We would like to know from
Make
them.
somebody mad. That's what they call it. And then I go to my main office at ThorWorks Industries and help with Seal Master and all our companies that Duke Thorson, Duke and Rhonda own. And then I go back to the race shop at the end of the day and help finish out and just try to keep things moving. I call it operations of both because we're just trying to make things move, make things winners, whether it's business or on the racetrack.
So looking down at the lap times, and again, everybody coming out trying to do those mock qualifying runs right now. And Kyle Hamilton coming out and going to the top of the speed charts, 21.215.027 seconds over what Briggs Danner had turned, a 21.242. CJ Leary, third quick at a 21.313. Tyler Rohrig, 21.364. And Dakota Armstrong, fifth quick at a 21.365. And looking at the number of laps turned by Kyle Hamilton, that time coming on lap number 40.
Yeah, he's ran 44 laps, so, maybe he's just getting used to the car. I don't know. That's a lot of laps.
Because originally, remember, he wasn't supposed to be in that car. That was a last minute. Michael Lewis out of Noblesville was originally scheduled to be in that car. So curious when that actually changed.
I don't know. I did see Michael here. I had a little talk with him, but I won't say the conversation I had. But I don't know when they decided that.
Yeah, we were talking about that going, I want to be because that was in Bob's car too. So getting the confirmation on that, the boss man, Casey Kohler, coming in and actually saying that happened last night. And what it is, Michael wanting to focus on the midget side. So Kyle coming in, and Kyle, his last attempt at Silver Crown was here. Unfortunately, was a DNF in that event, so good to see him back behind the wheel and see what he can do here, showing he definitely still knows how to get around this place. So 6:21, again, 6:21 the current time, 6:25 the scheduled end time for Dirt Draft Hot Laps here for Silver Crown practice. High performance racing demands high performance energy. That's NOS Energy, fueling USAC's fastest drivers and fans all season long. Grab yours and get after it. Next time you're at a USAC national event and you can't hear quite what's going on, but you want to find out, you can bring your scanner and tune in to frequency 454.5000. All the FloRacing broadcast audio available right here in the grandstands. Shop today at racingelectronics.com or call 1-800-272-7111. Cookout presents always fresh, never frozen burgers, barbecue, and hot dogs, all cooked fresh every day. And get this, over 40 different flavors of shakes, all prepared fresh and made by hand every day. It's all yours. Find a Cookout location near you. Go to cookout.com. Sunoco was the world's largest manufacturer of racing fuels and has been the standard of motorsports for over 50 years. Known for innovation, consistency, and high performance, Sunoco Fuels has been the choice of racers from grassroots tracks to premier international series. Check out SunocoRaceFuels.com for more information. So Hamilton 21.215. It'll be interesting to see once they come out for Learn Lab qualifying where everybody is able to position themselves in the field. Again, 23 drivers checking in today for Silver Crown competition and 34 on hand with your All-Star National Pavement Midget Series presented by Bird Insurance Group. Those drivers already coming out and practicing prior to the start of the broadcast. In Hot Lap Session number 1, Tony Stewart was quickest at a 22.291. Hot Lap Session number 2 for the Pavement Midgets, Trey Osborne was a 22.570. Third round of practice, Nick Hamilton, a 22.564. And their fourth round, the quickest driver again was Hamilton at a 22.160. If you're looking to find lap times, rosters, lineups, and more as the checkered flag flies here in Dirt Draft Hot Laps for the USAC Silver Crown National Championship, download the My Race Pass app. It is free to download in the Apple and Android market. You'll get your lineups, your rosters, your information, and more. But if you do want live timing and scoring, that is all a part of the premium membership. Download it today. Get the app with My Race Pass. So Dirt Draft Hot Laps comes to a close, and Kyle Hamilton was quickest, 21.215 seconds. Briggs Danner second quick at a 21.242. C.J. Leary, 21.313. Tyler Rourke, 21.364. And Dakota Armstrong, fifth quick at a 21.365. Russ Gamester, Bobby Santos, the third. Justin Grant, Ryan Newman, and Davey Hamilton Jr. make up the top 10. Difference from first to 10th, 0.287 seconds. Checking on that earlier, it was a little over half a second, so towards the end of practice, really tightening up and really closing in as everybody coming out and just so equally matched inside the top 10.
Yeah, it's a pretty good field. It may only be 23 cars, but I think it's a pretty good field. You know, top 15 are in pretty close times to each other.
So getting qualifying set up for the All-Star National Pavement Midgets, presented by Bird Insurance Group. Again, one car at a time will make their way out onto the speedway. The top 18 in qualifying will lock into today's 30-lap night before the 500 feature event for the All-Star Midgets. Everybody else going into the qualifying race, taking the top 6. That'll be 12 laps. Once we get through opening ceremonies, that will be the first event on track. So waiting for a couple more midgets to make their way down to the staging lanes. Real quick, Drake York down with an update on your driver who is quickest in hot laps.
Yeah, actually getting the chance to catch up with your driver fastest in dirt track practice, Kyle Hamilton. First time back in a Silver Crown car in 6 years, and you put it atop the speed charts here in dirt track practice. I know we're still early on in the day, but for a guy that's been out of the USAC Silver Crown Series for 6 years, did you expect to be this fast this early on?
Not 100%, I'll be honest. I was a little nervous. Just got the call to run this car this morning, so I was a little nervous about it, but I have ran with these guys a lot. I mean, Bob, Lenny, Terry, Tristan, and I, we've raced together for a long time, so it was nice to be at the top of the board, just honestly for my mental game of kind of like, hey, the car's got it, so now I can just go out and do my job now that I kind of know that the car's got speed in it.
Your one and only USAC Silver Crown win came right here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park, but I want to go back to something that you said a little bit ago. I believe you were supposed to race the Midget tonight. Was it a bit of a shock to get the call to run the Crown car here tonight?
Yeah, a little bit, but I've been around racing a long time, and you just never know what's going to happen, and it's just not a – I used to think there was a million drivers that wanted to take your spot, but sometimes you're the first guy they call, and you know, it kind of made sense for Bob and us to work together on short notice just because I live close by. We've raced together before. He still had one of my seats. So got to be on your toes if you race sprint cars. You never know.
Kyle Hamilton currently, or actually not currently, he was the fastest in dirt track practice here today at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Brian, so impressive for him to be out of the seat as long as he has been and still to be that fast.
So about 6:35 is when we will have qualifying underway here for the midgets. In the meantime, we had a couple of hot laps going on at the dirt track of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. One of our Indianapolis News affiliates was there to catch up on what was going on.
We wanted to build a dirt track at the Speedway to give him an opportunity to take the sport that he loved, which was short track racing, at the racetrack he loved, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Ready? Let me get one more. All right, we'll talk to you. Gotcha. Yeah, so we're standing at the dirt track that was built in the middle of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 2018 as a way to really celebrate short track racing and its connection to the Indy 500 and the Speedway, but certainly its connection to small towns across America and how important it is. And to be able to have that dirt track race here was something we always wanted to do. So today we're actually beginning the promotion for the BC39, which is our midget race that started in 2018. the last several years we brought some celebs in to actually test out the track in a midget, and we brought Ray Evernham in to do that today. And the fun thing about Ray is it's a connection to the Speedway through a crew chief for Jeff Gordon, and they won the first Brickyard 400 here. He also knew Brian Clawson really well, and when this race is named after Brian Clawson, it's part of the IndyCar officiating board, so he's connected throughout a whole bunch of it. But just to have him come here, get in a car, he's raced before, so to have him have some fun here and help us promote the fact that the BC39 is just around the corner. Yeah, I think when we first started to do this, I don't think we were sure how long it would last. We knew 2018 we'd have the race, but the idea that we're almost 10 years into it is pretty special for all of us. And the fact that we continue to tell the story of Brian Clawson, not the race car driver necessarily, but Brian Clawson the person, and the legacy that he's left, the thousands of people who've become organ donors because he was an organ donor, the lives that have saved because of the things that Brian Clawson did, not just winning on the racetrack, but sort of winning in the way that he presented himself as a human and as a person. And being able to tell that story along with the story of USAC Midgets and how much fun it is having those here right at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway makes for a great story and an easy one to tell. Well, I think the beauty of the BC39 is it's a lot of cars. 24 actually start the race. It's a really condensed race, but the 2 days of racing include a lot of heat racing, a lot of qualifying. There's just always activity on track, and there's short little bursts of activity, which makes it a lot of fun as a fan. And just doing it right here when you're sitting in the grandstands and you see the pagoda, especially as the sun goes down and things light up around here, it's just really a special way to celebrate some of the best race car drivers in the world, at the best racetrack in the world, and some of the coolest racing in the world.
It was an honor, it was an experience for me, to be these bucket list things, and hanging here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway lately. I've been able to do a lot of bucket list things, and to be able to continue to carry Brian's story. As I said, he was special. I've known him for quite some time, and to be able to help the Clawson family carry forward the Driven to Save Lives. And there's no better place for this event to be than here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So thank you to Doug Bowles and everybody. And again, it was another check off the bucket list for me today. Midget cars in general have been for the long way the way to get to the 500, right? And that's the biggest motor race in the world. I know people argue with me. It just depends on what country you're from. But this is a special place. It is very, very special. I think the greatest of the greats, their spirits still walk here. They're here. I felt every time that I went through those garage doors up there when I was a crew chief, you're like all the great mechanics are looking at you going, are you worthy to be here? And I think the great drivers are here like that. And now to know that Brian's spirit walks here and represents a place like this, and so much, it means so much to, I think, a lot of people.
Yeah, very humbling, right? It's humbling from the racer in me. Obviously, having an event named after your son at a place like the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is very special. But it's also more than that. It's about, the decision that Brian made to be an organ donor. And this race has really become where a lot of those people that we've met over the last 10 years come to celebrate that decision along with the race. One of my favorite parts is getting to see all the drivers here and hearing their stories, but it's also the fans who we get to talk to, and we get to hear their donation story, whether they're part of a donor family or they have somebody in their family that's a recipient, or they're a recipient themselves. To get to hear their stories and how it's changed their lives it's incredible. And to see what Brian's decision has inspired on that front really trumps it all. This place is just magical. It's special, and there isn't a time that you don't come out here that that I don't feel his presence. Just being out here, and if I'm the only one that feels it, that's okay. No, it's again, this place is very special to not only myself but my family. It was so special to Brian too.
Welcome back to the broadcast here on FloRacing, the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series presented by Bird Insurance Group, making their way into the staging lanes. They're qualifying coming up, one car at a time out to the speedway. 2 laps, their fastest of the 2, counting towards their qualifying effort. So from some of the biggest cars on pavement to some of the smallest here, as the 36 of Chris Bowie out of Indianapolis, Indiana, going to be the first driver to make his way out onto the racing surface. And this is such an interesting class. Started in 2024 and trying to bring back kind of a budget-style class for midgets. And it has just absolutely exploded. And we've seen this is one of the largest fields they've ever had here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. And it comes down to there's 2 basic engine styles you can run. You can run the Ecotec, which is the Chevrolet, or you can run the Z-Tech, which is the Ford. But there's different variations of that engine within the rules. Looking at it here, you have a Focus stock Z-Tech. You've got it with cams and pistons. You've got the SVT motor with pistons you can run, and then on the Ecotec side, you've got a wet sump and a dry sump, and then also the clutch deletion, and they control all this through weight, depending on what engine you have. As Bowie comes out, his opening lap is a 23.831 seconds for the Indianapolis racer. And one of the neat things, and this kind of harkens back to what they do in IndyCar, where they'll actually weigh the car and the driver, and then the ballast is not the same. It's actually to get all the cars weighing the same. One engine you can run, but you have to be over 200 pounds as a driver.
That's different. I'm not there yet, but I'd be close.
So Chris Bowie's second time by was his better of the 2 at a 23.516. There's an RPM limit that was set in place in 2025 as a baseline of 7,300 RPM among the combinations. And that's kind of it's enforced unless further adjustments are made or communicated to the participants, and that, again, is to kind of keep everybody in that level playing field. Desi Pedregon, 23.266, out on the speedway in car number 16. She'll make her way onto the back straightaway. The Three Stooges Racing, number 16, last here in August with a 25th place finish. Unfortunately out after only 6 laps. She'll make her way around off of turn number 4. We'll see if she improves in lap number 2, and she does. Quick time for Pedregon, 23.110. Remember racing against Cruz and calling Cruz in races. Now we got Desi out there.
Is that one of the kids?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Out onto the speedway now, Ryan Newman out of South Bend, Indiana, the High Performance Lubricants, number 61. 6 wins here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park among Midget and Silver Crown competition. Comes around, first time by will be quick time at a 22.826, 22.826 seconds for Ryan Newman. Makes his way onto the back straightaway, and again, he's running that very particular line you talked about. Again, just getting that left rear on that seam and letting it carry onto the back straightaway.
Yeah, and he's also in the 61 Mel Canyon Tribute car, and I think Mel is the winningest USAC sprint car, or midget driver in history.
Need to see his colors and his numbers still being represented here, and especially by Ryan Newman as he comes around second time by. Better 22.628, 22.628 seconds. Ryan Newman now goes to the top of the speed charts here with the All-Star National Pavement Midgets. So again, 34 of these drivers checking in to do battle here today. The 42, Lee Pierce onto the speedway at Liston, Indiana. Last start here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park with the All-Star Midgets was back in August, had a 17th place finish. As 3 drivers have come out to qualify. Ryan Newman, right now the quickest driver on track at a 22.628. Pedregon, a 23.110. And Chris Bowie at a 23.516. White flag, lap number 1 for Pierce coming around, and he'll go forth quick at a 24.359, 24.359 seconds for the driver of the number 42 machine. So talking about the size of the engines on the Z-Tech side, it's a 2-liter. On the Ecotec side, it's a 2.4. Coming around here onto the front straightaway, checkered flag for Pierce. And the second time by is better on time, not position, 2.4328 for the driver of the number 42. Scheduled to be on track next is the number 8 machine. It is Dameron Taylor out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Little bit of a shake in the car there in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Gets it sorted onto the back straightaway. Last start here back in October was a 20th place finish for the driver of the number 8 machine. And working into turns 3 and 4, and you can see him really kind of dancing on the wheel there. That car finding a little bit of a loose condition.
Yeah, he's very loose.
Coming around, and it shows 23.637, currently 4th quick for the driver of the number 8, working onto the back straightaway. In a condition like that, I feel like there's not really a whole lot you can do other than just, at this point, hang on and make it through.
Yeah, maybe just move up a tick. So the higher you go here, it will tighten it up a little bit. But you can also get in the marbles, right? So it's catch 22.
And it looks like that's exactly what he did. He picked up some speed, goes to 3rd quick, 23.457. As our next contender out onto the speedway, looks like the 83 of Chance Crum, the driver to Snohomish, Washington, driver of the Dundee Racing, number 83. Driver who was here back in October, had a 13th place finish. We'll see him off and on throughout the season with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship. Making his way through turns 3 and 4. And again, looks like he might be fighting a little bit of a loose condition as well. Saw the car kind of wiggle around on him there. Second quick on his first lap at a 22.845, 22.845 seconds for the Snohomish, Washington racer. Has a good line, good exit off of turn number 2, working into turns 3 and 4, and enters down a little bit low and then lets the car kind of swing wide. And this time doesn't look like the car's dancing on him quite as much.
Yeah, and a midget's going to be, the wheelbase is a lot shorter, like 76 inches, give or take, compared to the Silver Crown that was 99. So quite a bit of difference there.
Second time around was a little bit quicker, a 22.817. Ryan Newman, though, remains quickest. As next driver onto the speedway comes to out of Germantown, Tennessee, driver of the High Performance Lubricants number 1, slamming Sammy Swindell. Swindell onto the speedway now. Last trip here in October yielded an 8th place finish for the driver of the number 1 machine. Black with gold leaf number 1 making his way to the exit turn number 4. We'll see where he lands on his opening lap. It'll be 4th quick at a 23.116, 23.116 seconds.
Reminds me of the TMC wing cars that he had for years.
Thank you. That's exactly what it looks like. Those are always such beautiful, beautiful cars, and that car looked really good. Had to twitch the car a little bit there going into turn number 2. We'll see if he has to saw in a little bit here. Ooh, yeah, big wobble that time in the middle of turns 3 and 4. Sammy going to come around. We'll see what he does second time by, and it'll be 3rd quick, 22.938. So a little bit of improvement second time around for Swindell. As looks like Derek Bishak, the next driver on track out of Angola, Indiana, the Grant Kings racer, number 98. Bishak can work onto the back straightaway. Last time we saw him here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park with the All-Star Midgets was back in June of 2025. Top 10, it was a 9th place finish for the driver of the number 98, working his way around here on lap number 1. And he'll go 6 quick at a 23.483. A little bit lower entry out of him than I feel like we've seen out of everybody that's been out so far into turn 1. Horn sounding down to the pit area. That indicates to the Silver Crown teams to start getting ready for Learn Lab qualifying. Working around second time by for the 98. Better, 5th quick. Takes a little over a 10th of a second off that time, 23.343. Starting to get into the late part of the afternoon, more into the evening now, and the clouds have really provided some great cover, so the track has been cooling down considerably as we've been going on here. And right now, as we continue on, the track cooling down can only help the drivers in handling, but also with your setup already kind of set in place, can sometimes be a catch-22.
Yeah, it should tighten it up. It should give a little more grip. We didn't have a ton of sun, but we did have some heat earlier, so it should give it a little more grip.
Next driver onto the tracks out of Muskogee, Oklahoma, the number 77 of Kaylee Bryson. Bryson in the number 77 out onto the speedway. Champion in the Trans Am Series, working onto the back straightaway. 3rd quick on our opening lap, 22.921. 0.293 seconds off of the pace of Newman's number 61, who still sits atop of qualifying here. Bryson coming around. Goes quick time at a 22.581, 22.581 seconds. Kaylee Bryson to the top of the boards here with the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series. Continuing on, the 14 out onto the speedway. It's like Derek Stutzman at Hastings, Nebraska. The Clant Enterprises number 14S. Out onto the racetrack. Was here in October with a 16th place finish, coming around on his opening lap. The Clant number 14 going to come around at 9th quick. A 23.557, 23.557 seconds. For the Hastings, Nebraska racer, working onto the back straightaway, working his second lap right now. Kaylee Bryson again is your quick qualifier at a 22.581. Beating out Ryan Newman by 0.047 seconds. Second time by for Stutzman. Better, 23.557. So 9th quick right now for the driver, the number 14S. Next driver onto the speedway. Driver in 63. Frankie Guarini. Out of San Rafael, California, the FG3 Performance number 63. Going all the way back into June of last year and not seeing where the driver, the number 63, had been an all-star national midget competition here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Comes around 6th quick on his opening lap at a 23.204, 23.204 seconds. For the driver, the number 63, working onto the back straightaway, currently 6th quick. Working smoothly through turns 3 and 4 and bringing it down. A lot of wobble there at the exit of the 4th turn. But still able to jump up to 4th quick, 22.859. Tracy coming down the embankment like that, and the car just kind of trying to kick on him a little bit there. From the driver's seat, more of a loose condition or just kind of fighting the track?
No, it's loose. So the 5 out there now is really loose. But with no horsepower, they are slow. Not picking on the engines, just meaning, they're only running 23 seconds. So the engine's down on power, being that stock style engine, you have to keep the momentum up. So regardless if it's kicking loose, they have to just stay in the throttle.
Haley Papp, the driver on track out of Goshen, Connecticut, 7th quick on her opening lap at a 23.157, 23.157 seconds for the driver, the number 5. And I asked the question because, again, with the progressive banking and not being in the driver's seat and watching them and how they're reacting, so I appreciate the way you're describing that and really kind of going into the way the car is and what they're having to do to try to overcome that. As their second time by is better, 6th quick, a 23.065. That was Papp in the number 5. Billy Weiss out of Noblesville, Indiana, the High Performance Lubricants number 11. Out onto the speedway. Almost dirt tracking it there at the exit turn number 2.
He entered pretty low. Let's see if he goes into 3 and does the same. No, he didn't enter as low there, so.
Still really having to get that car back underneath him here as he is fighting that thing for all it's got here on his opening lap. Comes around 8th quick at a 23.239, and again, looks like entering just very, very low into 1 and just kind of washing the car up.
Yeah, he's fighting something in there. Billy's a winner. He's ran a lot of races, so he's fighting something he's not liking.
Back here in October, had a 3rd place finish. The 11 going to work off at turn number 4. We'll see where he lands. Second time by. Still 8th quick at a 23.239, 23.239 seconds. Or the driver of the number 11. Next driver on track will be the 11W, Anthony Nocella, the driver to Berlin, Massachusetts, in one of the Three Stooges Racing High Performance Lubricants machines, working onto the back straightaway. Red 11, white body, very reminiscent of Wilkie.
I think that is one of Wilkie's cars, which is probably one of my designs. So I designed the spike pavement chassis, blueprinted it, they built it, and that's what became the car. There was one-off that Wilkie's had, and then we built the other one that everybody else got.
22.975 on his opening lap. Nocella making his way off into turns 3 and 4. And again, a little twitch out of the car, but so far a good smooth run out into the front straight. We'll see what he does on lap number 2. Is a 23.239. Lands him 9th quick right now. Again, that was Weiss out of Noblesville, Indiana. Next driver onto the speedway in 14. I believe Jaden Rogers, driver to Worthington, Indiana. So Jaden Rogers, the driver on track, currently 10th quick at a 23.128. Apologies, getting our 11s backwards there for a second. Nocella in the 11W, Weiss in the plain 11. But Jaden Rogers at Worthington, Indiana, 5-time winner on the season in sprint car competition, twice at Lincoln Park Speedway. In fact, his last win on June 11th coming down there. Comes around 4th quick, second time by, 22.837, 22.837 seconds for the driver, the number 14, again, currently 4th quick. A lot of twitching coming out of this car as they work, oh my, dangerously close to the concrete. Thought they were going to catch all kinds of it. That's Evan Patton, the 61E, driving to Fishers, Indiana. And that's about as close to hitting the wall without just taking a chunk out coming off of turn number 4. So Patton currently on track and not quite into the throttle here as much, as really fighting a very, very loose condition on that number 61. 15 quick on his opening lap and going to stay there. In fact, slower second time by at a 24.520. So he'll go back, get with the crew, and get that thing rolling here. The 9 on track. I believe that's Ben McIterian, the Massachusetts racer in the Triple M Motorsports. Number 9 was 6 here back in October. And he's another one we've seen a lot where they are just absolutely sawing on the wheel at the exit turn number 2.
They are loose. He's really sideways. You should not have that thing in 10-degree yaw like that.
So coming around on his opening lap, well, it's working for him. Quick time, 22.446. 22.446 seconds for McIterian. So apparently you can run a dirt track setup on the pavement.
You can't for 25 or 30 laps, though, but good for him.
No, he is making that thing work as he has absolutely got that thing hanging out for all it's got here. We'll see if his second time by is better. His opening lap going to be the one he stands with, 22.446. But what a run for McIterian in the 9. Goes to the top of the charts here with the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series. Next driver out onto the speedway, one of our, it's like 88 machines. Working all the way. Oh, there it is, sideways, and can he save it? Yes, he does. What a save. Thought he was going to the concrete, and he's going to go ahead and back around. And
yeah, so because he didn't take the flag, still got a lap coming. So he's going to go around, get his speed back up, and then come take the white so he can get the white and checkered so he can get a second lap.
So he's going to roll down into the grass here, going to get his speed built back up. So he'll come around. That is Thomas Meserol. Only 1 minute, 3 seconds on lap number 1. He had that shortcut in there. But smart, though, knowing that he could go around. He didn't take the flag. He wanted to try to get his speed back up. Went around, got the U-turn on the entrance turn with 3. This time, still really high in 3 and 4. It's going to work, though. Comes around. We'll see where he lands. Goes 8th quick, 22.895. So a good recovery for T-Mez.
Yeah, and like I said, as you move up, you can tighten the truck or the car up a little bit. So that's what he did. He went so high there, just trying to keep it from trying to turn.
I believe Ryan Locke, the next driver on track out of Indianapolis, Indiana, the CR Performance number 38. Back in October, had a 22nd place finish. Again, just like we've seen out a few drivers, kind of drifting the car over in turns 3 and 4. He'll come around on his opening lap. He'll go 10th quick at a 22.963. And just like we saw earlier, drivers going in just a little bit too low into 1 and the car just kind of dancing up to the wall. We saw Locke doing that on this go-around. We'll see where he lands here second time by. And entering, I feel like about wider into 3 than just about everybody, but still able to keep the car up there and try to keep that momentum up. But he does lose a little bit of time second time by, 22.985. leave Dylan Kutu at Griswold, Connecticut. The Red Line Motorsports, number 53. Out onto the Speedway. Back in October, had a 5th place run. Working nice and smooth through turns 3 and 4. Just a little bit of a wobble there at the exit of the turn. Comes around on his opening lap. He'll go 6 quick at a 22.840. 22.840 seconds. Turn 2, a little wobbly.
Just think about when they get out there together and going to be wobbling together side by side.
So again, has a really good line through turns 3 and 4. Coming around, second time by for Kutu. Is a little bit better, 22.799. 6 quick still for the Connecticut racer. As right now, I believe yellow light's going to come on. They're going to do a quick check of the racetrack, getting reports of possibly something down along the bottom side of turn number 2. So Ben Mkhitaryan so far the quickest driver here with the All-Star Pavement Midgets, 22.446. Kaylee Bryson second quick at a 22.581. Ryan Newman third quick, 22.628. Dylan Kutu, who was just on track, at a 22.799. And Chance Crum fifth quick at a 22.817. Jade Rogers, Frankie Guarini, Anthony Nocella, Thomas Mesral, and Sammy Swindell currently make up the top 10. So 20 of the 34 drivers checked in have made their way out to qualify. Once we wrap this up, we'll go into Learn Lab qualifying for the USAC Silver Crown National Championship. Again, 23 drivers on hand in USAC competition today. Crew's coming to a stop here on the front straightaway. USAC action again just getting started here this weekend. Tomorrow's set to be at Millstream of the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship up in Ohio. Butler Motor Speedway in Michigan on Saturday. And then the dirt track at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway June 30th and July 1st. The BC39 presented by Avante Windows and Doors, one of the crown jewels of midget racing. And over 60 entries already in a little over a week's time. Of course, make sure and be tuned in to our social media channels. Look up USAC Racing on Facebook and at USAC Nation on X and Instagram. And, of course, USACRacing.com for all of the updates on that. But make sure and make plans to attend to the dirt track at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway June 30th and July 1st. A Sprintacular at Lincoln Park Speedway in Putnamville, Indiana, July 3rd and 4th. Terre Haute on July 5th. And the Mid-America Midget Week kicks off July 7th at Sweet Springs Motorsports Complex out of Missouri. Mitchell County Fairgrounds in Kansas on July 8th. Then up to Nebraska for Jefferson County Speedway on July 12th and 11th. Starting in Mitchell County, National Open Wheel 600cc Micros. Also going to be on the card. Drake, I believe, with an update.
Yeah, it was a very swift and quick track cleanup by the track crew here at IRP. Turns out it was just a small bolt, so as you can see, cars returning to the speedway now.
Small bolt, big problems. Isaac Stutzman out of Hastings, Nebraska, the Clan Enterprises number 4. Out onto the speedway. Another driver that was here back in October, had an 18th place finish. Comes around, gets up to speed here. One of the long-standing names in sprint car racing, really open-wheel racing, of course, is Terry Clanton, Bob East. I think they've run just about every combination of sprint car, Silver Crown, or midget you could possibly throw at them. Of course, Bob, a prominent car builder for many, many years. Comes around, first time by for Stutzman, going to be 16 quick at a 23.251. So we haven't really had much sun. Now it's starting to peek through a little bit, so I'm going to start to maybe throw in a little bit of an extra dynamic for the racers here. We'll see how long the sun lingers here. Maybe brings a little bit more heat into the pavement as Stutzman comes around, second time by. Wait for the time to make its way through here. His opening lap is a 23.251. Another one of the 88 machines onto the speedway here, coming around, opening lap. Dakota Armstrong Driver currently on track gives 11th quick on his opening lap at a 22.934. The High Performance Lubricants 880 out of Newcastle, Indiana. 4th place finish in his last IRP appearance back in October with the All-Star Midgets. Brings the Super Shocks High Performance Lubricants number 880 around second time by and go 8th quick, a 22.846.
Dakota probably has the best hometown that you could have in Indiana. Same as mine.
Not some bias there, is there?
A little bit.
We Chase Locke the next 88 onto the speedway. I think as he comes around here to complete his opening lap, he's 4th quick. Three Stooges Racing number 88C. Back here in October, ended up with a 26th place finish, a DNF. Unfortunately, his day coming to an end around lap 11. Comes around 4th quick, 22.642, second time by for the driver of the number 88C. Nathan Bird, next driver on track to qualify. Bird at a Goodyear, Arizona, the Bertrand Motorsports, number 40. 2 wins here last year with the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series. He was 9th back in October. Rolls the number 40 nice and easy at the exit turn at number 4. We'll see where he lands on his opening lap. 11th quick, 22.879, 22.879 seconds for the Birdman.
Nathan ran some truck races with this. I think he drove for Tyler Young a few times.
I feel like Nathan, he's kind of run a little bit of everything at some point somewhere. Comes around second time. And yourbigplans.com, number 40. I'll get that out in a minute. 5th quick, second time by, 22.679. Ayrton Houck out of McCordsville, Indiana, the number 7. Looking back through last year's results, not seeing a finish here in the All-Star Midget competition. Takes speed into turns 3 and 4. We'll see where he lands here in his opening lap. Drivers, as we're going along, I feel like opening up that entry into turn number 3 more and more. Goes 9 quick in that opening lap. And you can correct me on that, but I feel like they're taking it in just a little higher into 3 and then trying to bring it down maybe a little bit more at the exit of 4.
Some of them just look like they're just hanging on. But I think it's just momentum, right? You're just trying to build the momentum. As much as I can say this is go-kart racing with this engine in it, they are just trying to keep the speed up.
See what he does. He makes a breakdown for the bottom. One of the few drivers we've seen do that, kind of cut across and cut down, and it ends up working for him. 3rd quick on a second time by. He had the momentum and then tried to just get a little bit more speed there down the front straightaway. Goes to 3rd quick, 22.601. Driver who was set to be in the Client Enterprises Beast number 6. In Silver Crown competition, Michael Lewis in the 85, the High Performance Lubricants entry out of Noblesville, Indiana. Winner of this event 1 year ago in the nights before the 500. Comes around 14 quick at a 22.883. Looking back to October with a 12th place finish for the driver of the number 85. Of course, again, this event, as the name implies for the midgets, the night before the 500 was set to be run before the Indianapolis 500. Unfortunately, Mother Nature intervening and thankfully able to get everything rescheduled here for a little Thursday Night Thunder. Comes around 6 quick, second time by, 22.661, better by 0.222 seconds on his second lap. Next driver onto the speedway. He was quick during hot laps earlier. Driver to Columbus, Indiana, driver to Seymour Performance, number 29S. This is Tony Stewart. So over the straight lines, making some turns here today. Comes around first trip for Smoke. We'll see where he stops the clock second quick, 22.512. Jake Traynor, the number 29. They all look alike. Midway, Massachusetts, the Matt Seymour racer, number 29. Winner up at Owasso. That was during one of the Race for the Million events back on June 3rd. Nope, that was Tony, 22.512 comes around second time by, and that will take him to the top of the speed charts. 22.412, 224.12 seconds for Stewart in the number 29. So Kyle O'Gara, the number 67, on track coming around, and immediately takes the top spot away, 22.409. Stewart had it for a lap, and O'Gara takes it away by 0.03 of a second, 22.409 for the PFH Racing, number 67 at Canby, Indiana. 2 IRP wins in Midget. He won back here in August of 2025 and June last year. With a second place finish, comes around, and second time by is a 22.287, so better on his second lap for Kyle O'Gara.
That's fast. That's 2/10 faster than everybody else.
That is quick.
1.5, but still, first one that's been that low all day.
So should be down into the final handful of drivers here. I believe this is Trey Osborne. 11th quick, a 22.765. Dwayne Cressman, Hidden Hoof Hollow Farms, number 1M. 3 wins. Ocala down with the USAC National Sprint Cars back in February. A win at Atomic with the Boss Series, and then Bloomington in weekly competition back on June 19th. As 1M comes around, 7th quick second time by at a 22.623. It's like Nick Hamilton out of Danville, Indiana, the Greg Steele, number 2. Another driver that was here back in October, had a 23rd place finish. Comes around on his opening lap. We'll see where he stops the clock. 11th quick at a 22.672, 22.672 seconds for Hamilton. Working a second lap as the final few midgets make their way into the staging lanes. Silver Crown cars starting to make their way up for Learn Lab qualifying. And Hamilton better second time around, 5th quick at a 22.529. Jacob Sinercha, the driver out of New Lenox, Illinois, in the 77S. On the speedway now. Rear end really kicking at the middle of turn number 4 there. Coming around 3rd quick, and it seems like here as of late, the drivers we've seen almost dirt tracking it off of turn number 4 really has some great lap times. So Sinercha coming around 22.438 on his opening lap. See what the Illinois racer can do this time into turns at 3 and 4. And again, chasing that car up the embankment, working around right up against the wall here at the exit of turn number 4. Better second quick, second time by 22.321 for the driver, the number 77. It looks like 2 more drivers sitting in the chute, 1 driver on track. He's won here 20 times in his career. Sprint cars, Silver Crown, Midgets, Indy Pro 2000, must-see sprint cars. We're talking about Cody Swanson out of Kingsburg, California, the Bertram Motorsports, number 77, mission on the side of that machine. Coming around on his opening lap, we'll see where he stops the clock. It'll be 4th quick at a 22.415, 22.415 seconds for Cody Swanson. Currently leads the points with the All-Star National Midget Series. 15 of his victories in USAC competition, making his way through turns at 3 and 4. 4th quick on lap number 1. See where the multi-time Silver Crown champion lands here on lap number 2. 2nd quick, 22.312.025 seconds off of the pace of Kyle O'Gara. Now I believe Trainer on track in the number 29. The Matt Seymour Racing entry. Coming around, quickest, 22.248. For Jake Trainer, a 4-time winner here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park since 2024. Victory here in October of 2025. And by the way, won up June 3rd at Owasso. Comes around second time is even better, 22.179, Jake Trainer. Comes around and absolutely lays one down here in qualifying. And should be the last driver to qualify. Another one in the Seymour Performance Camp out of Indianapolis, Indiana, should be Kyle Hamilton. 2-time winner here, 2019 in Silver Crown and 2020 in Super Sprints. His October finish was a 10th. He was the quick time driver that night at a 21.944. Comes around second quick in his opening lap at a 22.277. So as fast as they are in October, he was even faster at a 21.944. Hustles are onto the back straightaway as he is currently 0.098 seconds off of the pace of Jake Trainer. Second time through turns 3 and 4. The weeble, the wobble, the save onto the front straightaway. And does he improve? Second time by, he does. Quick time, 22.127. Hamilton, last driver out, and goes to the top. 22.127 for the driver, the number 19. So Seymour bringing some great equipment to bear. 3 of the top 6 all out of that camp. Stewart, 6 quick. Trainer, 2nd quick. And Hamilton gets it by 0.052 seconds, 22.127 seconds. So Learn Lab qualifying next for the USAC Silver Crown Series. Learn Lab is a maker of award-winning hands-on industrial job skills training systems using curriculum, classroom tools, and rugged hands-on training panels. Learn Lab teaches the necessary skills with real tools and components to help schools, colleges, and companies train people to be better at what they do. Check out learnlab.com for more information. In 2 laps on the clock, your quickest lap time counting towards your qualifying effort. $150 bonus to be your Learn Lab quick qualifier this evening. So cars making their way in the staging lanes. I believe Drake with some updates.
Yeah, a few things to keep track of here out of Dirt Draft practice and a Learn Lab qualifying. The big one is Ryan Newman's 92 Kazmark racing machine. They are actually experiencing clutch issues right now, and this car is completely torn to the bones at the moment. The tank is off. Ryan's seat is out of the car too. Now, they do go 15th out here in Learn Lab qualifying, so there is time, but for as much as they got this car torn apart and as important the clutch is to a USAC Silver Crown car, I wouldn't be shocked if they missed Learn Lab qualifying entirely. Also, Jake Trainer's crew, they had a cracked fuel line in practice, but they should be to go, should be good to go here for Learn Lab qualifying.
Thank you very much. Again, the inverse of your practice is your qualifying order. So your slowest in practice, the first driver's out, and contact with the wall for the 32 down the front straightaway. Saves it from getting all the way to the wall over in turns 1 and 2. The Shelbyville, Indiana driver in the Crane Works Brownies Marine Sales, Brown's Oil Service number 32. Not the way you want to start things off here. His 4th attempt here in the Hoosier 100. His best run here last year was a 14th place finish. He's going to pull it down into the in-the-middle finishing work area.
Good news is I don't believe he touched anything.
Get a look at the replay here on FloRacing. Goes up and just bounces her off of the wall. Gets it locked up. And thankfully keeps it off of the wall at the middle of turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, so we can see the contact there with the tires. Right front first, then right rear. So maybe just change the wheels and put some fresh tires on. It should be good to go.
So we'll continue on here in Learn Lab qualifying. Next driver out onto the speedway. Making his USAC Silver Crown debut at Mount Pleasant, North Carolina. Driver the Well Doctor, Honeybee Septic, Jasper and Friends, Kircher Chevrolet. Number 75, this is Robert Tyler. Robert Tyler in the number 75. A little bit of a weeble wobble onto the back straightaway. Does have a win in Race Saver competition back on June 12th at Dixieland Speedway with the Virginia Sprint Series. course, his father, Brian Tyler, behind the wheel of the number 81 here today. Comes around on his opening lap of the 75. And will go 24.107, 24.107 seconds during practice. His father over the top of the car and kind of guiding and making sure that his son was comfortable down in the car. And again, as they went along, felt a lot more comfortable the more they ran, the more laps they put in. So we'll see how he improves here on lap number 2. Was a 24.107 on his opening lap. Second time by for the number 75. We'll see if he does improve. He does. 23.717 for Robert Tyler. Next driver onto the speedway, going to make his way around to the near side of the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. Driver in 57, he's from right here in town, driving the Studley Venture CSI Indy Metal Finishing Sharp Advantage. Claxton Chevrolet Beast at number 57. This is Kevin Studley. Kevin Studley, number 57. 3 career starts in Silver Crown competition, all of them here at Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. And the Vogler as well as the Carb Night Classic, won top 10 in 2017. He ran 7th. Comes off of turn number 4. Studley going to go quick time at a 22.611. 22.611 seconds for Kevin Studley. Last outing during the Chili Bowl Nationals ended up in the first M feature. Of course, the J Main name for Kevin Studley, and so it's always nice. You can walk up. Whoever wins either of the J Mains gets an extra $100. Comes around second time by, better 22.337. Quick time right now for the Indiana racer. On to the speedway now at St. Charles, Missouri. Driver of the Performance Plus Global Logistics, Spartan Transportation, FG3 Chevrolet Beast number 8. This is Kyle Steffens. Kyle Steffens in the number 8. 5-time starter here in the Hoosier 100. 18th in 2025. His best run was 10th in 2024. His first start of this event was actually at the fairgrounds back in 2001. Ran 15th from the 30th starting spot. Goes quick time on his opening lap at a 22.290, 22.290 for Kyle Steffens. And looks like out of the throttle as he works onto the back straightaway, so he will take his 1 lap and start to make his way down towards pit road.
He did that in practice too, so I don't know what's going on.
So next driver onto the speedway comes to you out of Parma, Michigan. Driver of the Flint Truck Services, Kircher Beast, Duncan Oil, Willwood, Burt Transmission, DCR Group number 81. This is Brian Tyler. Brian Tyler in the number 81. 19-time starter in the Hoosier 100, was 15th in 2025. Unfortunately, a fuel pump drive issue sidelining him early. Prior to last year, all of his starts had been at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. His best finish in 2015, 3rd from the 27th starting spot. He did that in the Bateman number 55. Comes around, first time by, will be quick time at a 22.178, 22.178 seconds for Brian Tyler. 216 career Silver Crown starts, 18 wins. His last one at DuQuoin in 2021. 61 top 5s, 128 top 10 finishes. His last Silver Crown start back during the Ted Horn 100. He finished 5th from the 16 starting spot, so Tyler definitely knows how to move up through the field. Comes around second time by, better 22.121 for Brian Tyler. Jackson Masinko, next driver onto the speedway out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Driver of the JTM Food Group, Toyota Beast, Brockman Signs, American Scaffolding, number 124. Hustles onto the back straightaway in the Brad Hayes Racing, Nick Bohanna Racing, number 124. 1 start here last year with an 8th place finish. Only 8 career starts in Silver Crown competition, 2 top 5s and 5 top 10 finishes for the driver of the number 124. Comes around on his opening lap. Quick time at a 21.784, 21.784 seconds for Jackson Masinko. 3rd from the 16th starting spot at Worldwide Technology Raceway. And really good late in the runnings. Out of Madison, Illinois, makes his way through turns 3 and 4, creeps her up high, and then swings her down to the middle groove of the exit to number 4. We'll see if he improves second time by. He does. 21.611. Quick time for Jackson Masinko so far here in Learn Lab qualifying. Drake reporting on this machine a little bit earlier. A heavy vibration at Worldwide Technology Raceway. The team still trying to get a little more speed, but a lot happier with everything is. In the Desnudos Organic Tequila, Droplight, Indy Power Sports, Indy Custom Zone, Forecheck Marketing, Abacus Racing, Stanton DRC number 11 out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. This is Kaylee Bryson. Bryson in the number 11. Working down the back straightaway. 2-time starter here in the Hoosier 100. Ran 19th in 2024. Her best finish of 15th. In 2023, comes around up at turn number 4. We'll see where she stops the clock. Second quick at a 22.104, 22.104 seconds for Bryson. Works on to the back straightaway, 32 career starts, 1 win, 3 top 5s, 15 top 10 finishes. The 2025 Trans Am Extreme GT champion had 2 wins last year. Also got the Super GT Championship in 2024. Comes around better, but still second quick. 21.850. Masinko still fastest at 21.611. Out of Medway, Massachusetts, driving the St. Pierre Chevrolet Burns Concrete, RE Enterprises Chevrolet Beast, number 126. This is Jake Trainer. Jake Trainer in the number 126. One start here last year, ran 5th from the 16 starting spot, did that in the Clan Enterprises number 6 machine. Comes around 3rd quick in his opening lap at a 21.936. 6 career starts, 1 top 5 and 2 top 10s. His last start in Silver Crown was in Salem last year with a 9th place finish. The 2-time NEMA Lights champion and 2023 Little 500 champion, making his way through turns 3 and 4. His opening lap good enough for 3rd quick, 21.936. Does he improve second time by? He does, second quick, 21.748. 22748, second time by, moves Trainer up into second. Next driver onto the speedway out of Lutz, Florida, drove the St. Pierre Chevrolet Burns Concrete RE Enterprises number 26. This is Colton Bettis. Colton Bettis in the number 26. Several times a victory lane in asphalt sprint car competition, 7 times so far this season. His last win at Citrus County back on June 13th. Goes 4th quick on his opening lap at a 21.944, looking for his first start here in the Hoosier 100. 3 career starts, unfortunately, has not made it to the checkered flag in any of them. Mechanical failures so far has haunted Colton Bettis. We'll see if he can change that here today. Comes around, quick time at a 21.563, 2:1.563 seconds. Colton Bettis goes to the top here in Learn Lab qualifying. Shelby Hinton onto the speedway now at a AA Louisiana, the Beast Chevrolet. Breininger Motorsports number 80 machine working onto the back straightaway, looking for his first start here in the Hoosier 100. 1 career start during 4 Crown Nationals last year unfortunately resulted in a DNF. Hinton coming around on his opening lap. We'll see where he stops the clock. It'll be 3rd quick at a 21.641, 2:1.641 seconds for the former national champion of the National Open Wheel 600 Series. From the micros up into the midget, sprint cars, and now Silver Crown competition for the Louisiana racer. Working that high line in turn number 3. Wiggles her down a little bit. The exit, turn number 4. We'll see where he lands. Second time by. 3rd quick on lap number 1. And slower lap number 2. 21.813. His opening lap, a 21.641. Colton Bettis, the driver they're chasing right now, with a 21.563. Sharp-looking machine onto the speedway out of Auburn, Illinois. The Pella Windows, Avante Windows and Doors, Apache Transport, Curb Records, Kodiak Products, Stanton DRC, Team Arizona, Petty Performance, Rossi Racing number 20. This is Mario Speedwagon. It's Mario Clawson. 2-time starter in the Hoosier 100. He was 3rd last year, qualifying for the pole in 2025. Comes around on his opening lap. And that's right where he goes, 21.474. Quick time for Mario Clawson here in Learn Lab qualifying. 2023. Went from 18th to 9th here in the Hoosier 100. 35 career Silver Crown starts, 8 top 5s, and 26 top 10 finishes. His last outing at Worldwide Technology Raceway resulted in a 5th place finish. Comes around second time by. Quick time on lap number 1. Does he improve lap number 2? Yes, he does. 21.407 for Mario Clawson. Quickest now in Learn Lab qualifying. Next on to the speedway out of Tampa, Florida, drove the Willwood Racing, BR Motorsports, King Racing Products, DMI, IPC, Brown & Miller Racing Solutions, Chevrolet Beast, Hamilton, DB Racing number 14. This is Davey Hamilton Jr., Davey Hamilton in the number 14. 1 start here back in 2023, a 31st place finish. Lap 15, unfortunately, the rear end coming apart as he wiggles her off at turn number 4. Comes around, lap number 1, second quick at a 21.536. Clawson still faster by a little over 1/10 of a second. Last start of the Worldwide Technology Raceway, led 18 laps. Unfortunately, a DNF with a mechanical issue resulted in an 11th place finish. 19 career starts, 1 win at Worldwide Technology back in 2023. Comes around second time Justin Grant in 91 here in Learn Lab qualifying. Next out to the Speedway at Franklin, Massachusetts. Driver of the Brown & Miller Racing Solutions, Simpson Race Products. Indy Metal finishing Willwood, DMI Hypercoil, DJ Racer number 98. This is Bobby Santos III. Bobby Santos III in the number 98. Winner of the Hoosier 100 back in 2023. Last year a handling issue, relegating him to a 16th place finish. Comes around second quick on his opening lap at a 21.363 in all of USAC competition here, and he's tied with Tracy Hines and Cody Swanson at 15 USAC wins overall here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. He's gone to victory lane 16 times. A 6-time Silver Crown winner here. Makes his way through turns 3 and 4. Second time by for Santos. Does he grab the top spot? Yes, he does. 21.124. Bobby Santos to the top here in Learn Lab qualifying. Next driver onto the Speedway out of Peru, Indiana. When it comes to 8 feature starts, nobody's done it more times than this man. Russ Gamester, driver of the Gamester Green Gable Village, Scripture Chevrolet Beast, Olson Paint and Body. Gamester Racing Products number 51, 222 career Silver Crown starts. 6 wins, 37 top 5s, and 85 top 10 finishes. His last outing was during the Ted Horn 100 last year with a 12th place finish. And something not right at all on Gamester's number 51, not sounding good as it rolled down the front straightaway. So sounded like it is just absolutely getting loaded up, just not wanting to run, but nevertheless coming out, and he'll go ahead and see if he can clean it out and get a qualifying time in here. As he works off of turn number 4, and again, just not sounding very good, but nevertheless was still able to pick up a position, goes 14 quick second time by, 23.542. So something going tragically wrong between hot laps and qualifying, because Gamester was one of the quicker drivers earlier during Dirt Draft Hot Laps. As our next driver on track is out of Newcastle, Indiana, driver the Merson Crop Performance, Armstrong Farm, Stanton B, CNA Motorsports number 5. This is Dakota Armstrong. Dakota Armstrong on track. And the number 5, a 2-time starter here in the Hoosier 100. 21st last year, his best run, a 6th in 2024. Second quick on his opening lap at a 21.272. 19 career Silver Crown starts as we go on board here in the P1 Performance Australia onboard camera, riding along with Dakota Armstrong. Last start here at Indianapolis Raceway Park during the Race Aid 100 in July of 2025. Had a 3rd place finish. Turns around, second time by. Better, still second quick though at a 21.205. Misses it by 0.081 seconds. Next on to the Speedway at Plymouth, Indiana. Driver the First Line Systems Incorporated, Newman Racing. Drywall Distributors, Jackson Chevrolet Beast. Michael Newman, number 41. This is Tyler Rohrig. Tyler Rohrig, the number 41. Picking up a win at M40 Speedway back at the start of June in an asphalt late model. Winner of this event 1 year ago comes around lap number 1, 3rd quick at a 21.235. 21.235 seconds for Tyler Rohrig on lap number 1. 12th in 2024, 3rd in 2023. His last crown start during the 2025 Race Aid 100 with a 10th place finish. See what the 2023 500 Sprint Car Tour champion does. He makes his way at the exit of turn number 4, lap number 2, better on time, and still 3rd quick, a 1,000th of a second off of Dakota Armstrong at a 21.206. Next on to the Speedway. Last time we were on the tarmac, he was a victory lane at the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Greenfield, Indiana. Driver the Avante Windows and Doors, Apache Transport, Curb Records, Kodiak Products, Standard Engineering, Beaver Stripes number 21. This is C.J. Leary. C.J. Leary in the number 21. 88 starts, 6 wins, 37 top 5s, 56 top 10s. Quick time, 21.045, 2.1045 seconds for C.J. Leary on his opening lap of the Team Arizona Petty Performance Rossi Racer number 21. An 8-time starter here at the Hoosier 100, ran 2nd last year. His best performance along with his run in 2020. His first start at the Fairgrounds in 2015, he ran 12th. Comes around, second time by, even better, 20.962. C.J. Leary at the top of the boards here in Learn Lab qualifying. Next driver onto the Speedway at Allentown, Pennsylvania. Driver the East Snyder & Sons Recycling. Cinnabog Cranes and Material Handling. Doran Enterprises, Lancey Ford, Beast number 77. This is Briggs Danner. Briggs Danner in the number 77. Comes around third quick in his opening lap at a 21.160, 21.160 seconds. 8 overall wins. His last one of the Action Track USA with the USAC Amsoil Sprint Car National Championship back on last Sunday. Looking for his first start here in the Hoosier 100. 15 career Silver Crown starts. His opening lap will be the one he takes. Third quick at a 21.160. As our final driver to qualify was quickest in Dirt Draft Hot Laps out of Indianapolis, Indiana, driver the Clant Enterprises, Willwood, Brown & Miller Racing Solutions, Penske, Klotz Lubricants, Hoosier Tire. Number 6, this is Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton in the number 6. Last Crown start, August 2020, with a third-place finish. His last attempt, unfortunately, ended in qualifying. 21 career Silver Crown starts, a victory here back in the 2019 Carb Night Classic. Comes around 10th quick at a 21.506. 7 top 5s and a dozen top 10 finishes. His best performance here during the J.D. Byrider 100 in 2002 was a 5th place run. Comes around, second time by. We'll see where he lands. He was 10th quick on lap number 1. Hamilton coming around. He improves to 7th, 21.368. So that will wrap up Learn Lab qualifying. 5th quick tonight was Tyler Rourke. 4th was Dakota Armstrong. 3rd was Briggs Danner. 2nd was Bobby Santos. And your Learn Lab quick qualifier tonight out of Greenfield, Indiana, the Avante Windows and Doors Apache Transport Stanton DRC number 21. Give him a hand, C.J. Leary. So we'll have our quick time interview as well as opening ceremonies coming up here in just a little bit. So when it comes to the pavement, Leary sitting at 100% for pole qualifying runs. So Leary, Santos, Danner, Armstrong, Rohrig, Grant, Hamilton, Clauser, Hamilton Jr., Nathan Bird, your top 10 in qualifying. From 1st to 10th, the difference less than a half a second, 0.469. Learn Lab Quick Time Award number 11 for C.J. Leary. Vintage Indy making its way around the Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. The John Zink Special went to victory lane at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1955. Bob Swikert, the winning driver. The driver behind the wheel today, Donnie Beechler. Winner of the 1998 Hoosier 100, making his way around the front straightaway. Of course, John Zink, a winner in IndyCar, Champ Car, NCRA. Emmett Hahn, founder of the Chili Bowl Nationals, the Tulsa Shootout. Of course, famously drove the John Zink number 52. in Champ Car competition all around Kansas and Oklahoma and Texas. Tracy, what do you think? Take that thing at full song around IMS?
Oh, well, Donnie knows how to do it.
I'm saying you.
Oh, no, I don't know. I haven't seen Donnie lately. Maybe we both are the same size at the moment. I was going to say, I don't know if I could fit in it, but Donnie is a little older than me, so maybe we look the same.
Of course, both found success in Tulsa.
Yes, yeah, a few years apart, but I picked on Donnie when he won. I think it laid rubber that year. He ran in the middle of the track. But, you know, racers got to pick on each other, especially when they're friends.
If you're nice to each other, that means you don't see each other as competition.
Exactly, and Donnie's let me stay at his house before when I raced in Springfield early on. Because when you first start out in your career, you know, I know everybody believes racers make a lot of money, but you scrape as you're coming through.
Wait, you're getting paid?
Yeah, it took a while, but yes, you end up getting paid. But nope, I stayed in the floor of Donnie's basement many times trying to survive.
I want to say there's a podcast out right now. I think TLP is a part of it, The Couches That Made Us. And it talks about, you know, all the up and coming and, you know, having to sleep on couches. I know Ross Weiss, you know, famously is like everybody that was winning for a while, they stayed with Ross.
Yeah, sometimes you can't take the cheapness out of us, though. You know, Justin Grant's done pretty well, and I looked at his phone today. I'm like, would you buy a phone? It looks junk. It's tore up. It's all, you know, broke. The glass
still works.
Yep, still. That's exactly what he said. Still works.
It's not cheap. It's frugal. Always cool to see, you know, a car like that still runs, still comes out, and just to look at the amazing difference in what they were running then versus an Indy car today. I feel like this should have been a little more era specific. Open face, bandana.
I'm hoping they have replica tires on it. It's not the old tires, you know. I don't want it to blow a right rear going into turn one.
Some black shoe polish and paint it. Fill those cracks right in. You won't even know they're there. The camera perch is above us, and I don't know who's up there, but they're dancing. So it looks like we'll have opening ceremonies coming up here in just a little bit. We'll have quick time qualifier interviews. Before we get to that, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Donnie Beecher, again bringing that John Seek special out here to turn a couple of laps. The history of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on display here. So things ready to go down in Victory Lane to get a word with our Learn Lab Quick Qualifier as well as our Midget Quick Qualifier tonight.
CJ Leary going to pick up your Learn Lab Fast Qualifying Award for this Hoosier 100 here in June at the Indianapolis Raceway Park. And CJ, the track changing quite a bit between Dirt Draft Hot Laps and what ended up being Learn Lab Qualifying. We talked about it a little bit, but how did you have to adjust for that going forward?
We didn't really make any car adjustments there. We had a couple different sets of tires there. We scuffed in practice, and we found a set that was pretty obvious better than the other set. So a couple cars before we went out for our qualifying session, my spotter Tyler Kremer, he's like big cloud coming in. So I felt like that was going to help the guys there towards the end with getting the racetrack cooled down for speeds to go up. So Joe Devin, the whole Burkhart family, Team Arizona, Curb Records, Jerry Petty with Avanti Windows and Doors, Apache Transport, just everybody on the 21AZ car. It's a pleasure to just show up and drive, and the thing's really fast. Like I said, I think Joe's been slaving on the thing ever since Gateway. So really looking forward to the 100 laps tonight. I think it might be the first time we broke into the 22nd bracket in the Silver Crown Series with for me, so that's pretty cool. The race car felt really good. It's the first time we've actually, had a good balance. I wasn't all that happy in practice, and I felt like a lot of guys were skating off of 4, but the thing was a dream to drive, and should be a fun 100 laps.
Yeah, I noticed a handful of cars were having difficulty getting off of 4, wanting to kick the car a little bit sideways. You didn't find yourself managing that at all?
I definitely was managing it in practice. That's why we were making some adjustments, and we had Corey with Advanced Racing Shocks down there, and we were going over some shock stuff. And like I said, we were here last night, and we did a little test and tuning. I had a couple things that we wanted to try that we learned at Gateway that we wanted to see if would work here. And honestly, we went kind of back to our notebook on what we were doing last year, and made a couple of tweaks after practice. And we're down here and picking up a couple extra points for quick time, and we're on that championship hunt. So every little bit matters. And like I said, just super grateful to be the driver of this Team Arizona Racing.
Well, last time you picked up a Learn Lab Fast Qualifying Award, CJ Leary sat it in Victory Lane at Worldwide Technology Raceway just a few weeks ago. Does it here again at Indianapolis Raceway Park for the Hoosier 100. We'll get it over to Drake York.
Kyle Hamilton is your quick time qualifier with the All-Star National Pavement Midgets here in the night before the 500. And I'm going to kind of take a page out of Christie's book. We had a lot of wild conditions, but I look at All-Star Pavement Midget qualifying as kind of the Wild West when it came to conditions. We had a lot of overcast, then we had sun, back to overcast. How did you manage that behind the wheel?
Matt's got our car pretty dialed in this week. We tested last night, and he's got it to where I can almost mat it around here, and it seems like I can do it in any condition. And it's all you can ask when you go to drive somebody's car, that it doesn't change too much on you and give you something consistent. So Matt Seymour and Bobby and the whole crew's got the car on rails right now. We just got to be good in race trim, which is something I've struggled with a little bit here in the past. So we're going to work on that tonight.
I look at the MSR stable. Obviously, you're in along with Jake Traynor. He's had a bunch of success here in the All-Star Midget at IRP. And, oh, yeah, some guy named Tony Stewart's your teammate tonight, too. Do you think it could be just a 3-horse race between the MSR cars for the win here tonight?
I do think our cars are going to be really good. It's going to be fun to battle with those guys. But there's a couple other teams out here that you definitely can't look past. I mean, David's Ward Stable's got some really good cars. And some of these other guys, as soon as you start taking people lightly, that's when things start going bad. So Seymour guys are going to go hard tonight. I don't think there's going to be any team orders. Just going to try to see if one of us can park it in Victory Lane.
Kyle Hamilton bags your Fast Time Qualifier Award here for the night before the 500 with the All-Star National Pavement Midget Series. Let's get it back over to Christy Leary.
Well, we have a very special ring presentation today for your 2025 champions with the USAC Silver Crown Series. Justin Grant and Hemmelgarn Enterprises picking that championship up once again in 2025. And Justin, it seemed like last year, around this time, everything kind of started falling apart at Lawrenceburg Speedway when that foot got broken. This Silver Crown team with Dennis LaCava building you that contraption that went in all the race cars, Ron Hemmelgarn sticking out the championship with you, not having missed a Silver Crown race. It seemed like this was sort of the glue that held everything together for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Dennis Akava, he works super hard and on our team, and Ron Himmelgarn gives us everything we need to go compete. And foot was broke, but had Dennis there willing to do what it took to get me in the car, and Ron behind me the whole way. So do anything I could do to get back in the car, and we had a good year going. So try and suck it up and do what I could to bring it the rest of the way home for these guys.
If you had to pick something, was it this Silver Crown Championship that you hung your hat on, knowing that was the thing that you were going to put all your energy into?
Last year, it was kind of the one thing I had left that I could hammer a full season out of, and felt like we were in a good position to go win. And so had to miss a couple sprint car races, but got back in that, but really kind of was able to focus on the Silver Crown car last year, and me and Dennis put our heads together and worked about as hard as we could to figure out how to win a championship for Ron and Nick Bohannon and Roger Johnson and everybody that makes it possible for us to go racing with this 91.
Ron Himmelgarn, the owner of the 91, when you found out that your driver broke his foot in July, did you think that there was even a chance that you guys still had a shot at this title?
Yes, we believe in Justin. We believe in our team. Dennis, he put his thinking hat on and said, I got to build a throttle to adapt to my broken foot, and they did it. And it was interesting to take it down to the last race and to be able to win the championship. And we went into the year last year with the sole thing was to win the championship, and we did. And so again, we come back again this year, we want to win the championship. Now he has no excuse not to win the championship because his feet are working good. So we're excited about it. Hopefully tonight we can win a race, get us up there at the top with the championship, and just hold off the rain for the rest of the year. And I think Justin can do exactly that, and I knew the crew can do it. Dennis is all pumped up to win the championship, so what would I want other than the championship?
You guys now have 2 championships together as a team going back to 2020 and again in 2025. How has this relationship grown over time?
Yes, and we got a team that believe in each other, and that's the biggest thing. When he gets in the car, he knows he can win. For me, when you got a team that believe they can win, let's go do it, So he's in it, and he's in it to win it, and what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. Today we're going to celebrate your 2025 Silver Crown champions, Justin Grant, Ron Himmelgarn, Himmelgarn Enterprises, all of these guys over here that helped made this possible in 2025. They've got their championship rings to show for it.
So we'll get pictures down in Victory Lane, again celebrating our 2025 Silver Crown Champ Car champions.